almost forgot this. Do I even need this popper here? Do I need two? See, I normally have two when I'm about to record for a podcast to make sure I get all my P's out. But we just going to be casually talking, so I don't think I need this right now. Move you to the side. I think you'll be good. Just enough. Let me make sure I got everything ready and good. And to anybody that's here, which I don't know, how is your day going so far? So let's copy and paste you. Let me put you right here just to make sure. Just to make sure. Zen Master, glad I got shit to do today. Cynthia G makes my blood boil. Have a great show, John. What's up, Zen Master? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? We are live. Dude, I hate using StreamYards because this quality is the worst quality of anything I can use. But the good news is when I use StreamYards, you guys have the opportunity to come on here and speak too. I will be putting the link out for you guys to speak on. Now, I had to say something to myself last night. I said to myself, do you really want to do this video, bro, on this Cynthia G Live? Because if you do this video, you're in a no-win situation. Because ultimately what this boiled down to, you know what? Why am I getting into this? We not, well, no. We're not going to do that right now. We're not going to do that. Well, we'll do that after the intro music. After the intro music, we'll do that. What's up, Natalie Green? What's up to my girl? It's Queen Common Sense. Jaquel, yeah, I'm about to play. So there's a reason I'm playing these two songs. There's always a reason that the music I choose. I have over 5,000 songs, and when y'all listen to the words in these two songs, and you kind of see how this live is about to go. What's up, Mr. McMillan? Never heard of Cynthia G. Does she have that all black guys are problem perspective? I think so. But we gonna see, man. Let's go on and get into the live right quick with the intro music. You know what I'm saying? I hate using this program because normally I can chill and go do something, but now y'all can see me when I play the music with this. Video file, and to make stuff faster, I am adding a new folder of music I'll play live, so I don't have to run around and search for it. All right. Pay attention to the words in this first song I'm about to play. Pay attention to the words in this first song I'm about to play. Hold on. I'm not. Shut up.
Yep, I know why. I know why. You don't even know what the issue is. You just trying to find what a tissue is. Famous line I heard from Kanye West that signifies how I feel about this goddamn mess. Now let's say you had 4 jobs, each one of them you dozed off, registered came up short, which obviously led to no job. The reason you don't know if you telling people is your log. Now you can't understand why nobody's giving you no love. Excuses constantly never lead to producers. Ironically find it funny, it always leads to abusers. Get it, go, yep, you got it. Step those and becomes hypnotic. A mess to keep you from facing that you are your only problem. Look, baby, you not a victim, you something niggas will pick up. That drink you toss out the cup and be gone before even hiccup. This is a mental stick up. On your heart is a pistol. The gun may be a nigga, but you pulling the trigger. Take the guns off the street. Yes, I removed the sticker, but you'll get another vice to make you a victim. And what probably is your only out. Analogy about a job. Yes, let's talk about. See, 3 niggas cheat on you, they dog you out. But ask yourself, who the one who let them in your house? And ask yourself, who the one who couldn't figure out? And if some men don't cheat, why you they never around? But you don't even know what the issue is. You still trying to find what a tissue is. Then that victim shit'll make you blind. One plate and wine alone on Valentine's. Ladies, tell me, what's your New Year's resolution? And also, what was last year's resolution? Come on, one more. The year before that resolution have things change, and if not, what's your excuse? Take off your blindfold, show that pretty eyeball. If he tell you eyeball, tell that nigga I've grown into a butterfly that make a place where I roam. Speaking of Rome, motherfucker, these are my phones. See, you are the company you keep fleek. Notice the tidiness of kids whose parents are neat freaks. So if you keep these motherfucking weaklings, you will get the traits and relate and do the sneak things. Wow, you're starting to kind of see what the fucking issue is. So I guess I'll show your ass what the tissue is. Look in the mirror, look in the mirror at that pretty woman I swollen from being a victim. Tell her that you love her forever and paint a picture and show her it's only her that when she falls to make her get up. Show her you not lying so people can pity pick up. Smile and let her see why all of these men want a piece of. Cries is a joy and show optimism. Don't get up, no option. Let's do this now one more time. Now let's hold your chin up. A diet hurts because you eating different. Hurt or no pain, no gain. You see a better image. Now if this image change, you will see better niggas. And when they come around, don't doubt yourself, just get it. And when he compliments it, don't put down his opinion. You think you overweight, he thinks it's more you giving. He feels it's more the living than superficial fishing. They'll try to think for him, put on that smile and listen. Cause on the road to riches, I feel your story ending. A heroine that's winning cause she is no longer victim. So, no longer say that you lack what the issue is. Pay it forward, pass the tissue to another friend. And tell your friend, pass the tissue to another friend. And then that friend pass the tissue, then again.
Yes, I know what I do. I will, yes, I know what I do. Yes, I know what I do. I will, yes, I know what I do. Yes, I know what I do. I will, yes, I know what I do. Yes, I know what I do. I will, yes, I know what I do.
Album hot, my boy. You know what I mean? But for real, I'm waiting for you to spit some shit besides these female songs. You feel me? So, whatever you got in your bag, you gonna bring that shit through. For real. One.
Let the first one perfect stand up. Whoever stands up, I want some answers. I wanna know what happened to our grandmas, or why they 32 with 2 little grandsons, or why some white folks voted for Trump, then get mad when he fucked they shit up. I wanna know why you in this club line when your diaper count is now down to 5. I wanna know what's inside of ass shots. If a chick don't know, I hope her ass right. I wanna know, do haters hate? And if that's true, does that prove that self-hate? I wonder, would you care if those fake? If no one else can prove that those ain't? I wanna know, do you really wanna help, or do you help others cause it's best for self? Would you be happy with a 2-inch dick if every chick you hit just love that shit? I can't relate, but that question great, cause it shows me you care about what others say. See yourself, boy, promise this the best joy. 37, could this really be the best John? I don't know, but I wanna see some Teflon. When the bullets came, why at the best run? Big, quick count when the bitch fits. If he stays Al Green, will he get grits? Will she lie, call the cops, say got eyes? Tell his kids he don't care, he don't drop by. Damn, she a hot 9 married, but he not right. Wonder will he do it for the gram, cause they got live. 10 all the way to 0 is the new dawn. She tried to use Snapchat, he had 2 phones. Black and white making 2-tone. Would you stand in line if Apple made a blue phone? I got questions, man, arrest them, hands down, put that gun on that dresser. Funny thing is, this will be a blessing. In the real world, just blown from Smith and Wesson. When liberals live and the right kill niggas live, but it's still trying to make his pockets big. Or fall back, hands up, let's get ready, DJ, jubilant boys get. This a celebration, do the Charlie Murphy dance by giving 4 thumbs down, but with 2 hands. R.I.P. to everybody I see, cause before or after me, we all gotta leave. I'm not all I need, to be honest, it's we. Cause what's a cause if it's not enough to bleed? What's a seed if it's not enough to tree? What's a dream if it's not enough to leap? Nigga, jump off, fly, and don't look down. Like Sodom, make a more story, bird a cow. Man, I wonder what this shit is really worth a gal. 10 seconds after coming, was it worth a gal? You didn't kid everybody from the surface down. If everybody dad, who the fuck was in the crowd? Billy the Kid, Billy the Dad, Scarface, what a waste. Them niggas you looked up to blown away. So I looked up to the man with my face and told him every day that I can't, y'all. Pop your collar if you make good choices, and don't give a fuck about they Rolls Royces, but give a fuck about all the voices. Saying help others and don't ignore me. It took me to see the all in me. With that peace of mind came luxury. So I wonder will these motherfuckers get it? I wonder will these women stop paying and make them split it? I wonder will they stop posting that they sound suspended? I wonder why they keep posting they don't fuck with niggas. I wonder why when they rap they keep self-snitching. I wonder why where they from they think they strap different. I wonder why these motherfuckers really fuck with Clinton. I wonder do these motherfuckers know a private prison? Do they know a diamond cut don't mean a diamond in it? And if the bills ain't paid it means that I ain't winning. Wonder why he think he hard with the iron with him. Nigga never eating green, ain't no iron in him. If the blind ain't the blind winning. If my people losing ain't no way that I'm winning. Man, I keep asking questions, what?
Yo, let me know if y'all can hear me. Last time I was rapping and moving and messed up the mic and y'all couldn't hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me. Pop your collar if you make good choices and don't give a fuck about their Rolls Royces, but give a fuck about all the saying help others and don't ignore me. It took me to see the all in me. With that peace of mind came luxury. So I wonder will these motherfuckers get it? I wonder will these women stop paying and make them split it? Wonder why I think he hard with the iron with them. Niggas never eating green, ain't no iron in them. If the blind lead the blind, man, that goes right good with this live I'm about to do. Like I said when I started this out before we did the music, I started this out and I said I had to think last night because I know I'm going to get the bad end of the stick with how I'm going to lay out my opinion on this. There's no way, I thought last night, there's no way people are going to be happy. I'm going to show you why. If you love Cynthia G, you're going to be mad at me about this stream. If you sincerely hate Cynthia G, you're going to be mad at me about this stream. If you love the manosphere, you're going to hate me on the stream. If you hate the manosphere, you're going to hate me on this stream. So I'm just laying it out right now. There's a lot of extremist ideas. And when a bunch of people throw out extremist ideas, you're going to have some flaws in your ideology. I see a lot of people angry and upset and trying to tell grown adults how they should date and who they should date. And I've said in another live, hey, maybe I'm not smart or something, but sometimes I can't tell when people are doing this just to get money or if people believe these ideas because they're so extreme. I believe there's a lot of nuances in human beings that you can't just say one thing and pluck everybody to it. We're more complicated in our minds and how we think. So I was like, yo, you got a lot of momentum that's building on your channel. You sure you want to do this live on Cynthia G? Because how you think, every single category is about to be mad at you. And you know what made me do this live? Because I wasn't here to try to be liked and popular. I was here to give my honest opinion. And maybe y'all learn where I'm wrong on something, because I want to put out to the world to keep your mind open. Maybe somebody going to come on this live when I put the link out and let me know the flaws in the way that I'm thinking. I'm open for that, because I don't pump my chest out here and tell that like I'm smart enough that I got the right answers for everybody to do on some blanket statement like I'm seeing from these YouTubers. Mars, if you see somebody approve their comments, because a lot of times people are getting upset, and when they cuss, it's gonna block their comment from being shown to everybody. And when I get into a deep conversation, I'm not gonna be able to look at the chat to approve their comments. So approve all their comments, man. If it's a troll, you know we gonna embarrass the troll and get them up out of here. John only plays his raps. That's not true. I only have my raps on my computer. Matter of fact, Gravity Takeout hit me up, man. I didn't know he did music, but he gonna send me something. I'm gonna play some music from Gravity Takeout too. I hate I missed him, John. Glad I'm here for this particular topic. What's up, Kashan? What's up to all the people that's been coming over here regularly? What's up, Jade? Miss Marta Ma, AJ Gravez. Blessing to you. Glad you're here now. No troll here. Don't block me, bro. I found you via the lead attorney. Nah, I'm not. You can disagree with me, bro. I welcome all of that stuff, bro. Like people know when you're trolling, but you can come hard disagreeing with me, man. We gonna let that rock and we gonna talk about it. I'm gonna read your comment and we gonna discuss it, man. That's what I'm trying to promote over here. Without further ado, I'm about to play this link, and again, I'm gonna do my disclosure for Cynthia G, because I be thinking Cynthia G be creeping and watching stuff like this right here. She deciphers how big you are before she'll respond, or if she'll respond. What's up, Megan? But if you watch this, Cynthia G, I have not watched enough of your content to come on here and try to bash you as an individual. I saw a little bit of your content that I don't like, so I'm not gonna bash you. I'm gonna keep it on topic. I'm gonna keep it onto the words that we play on the screen, and deal with what I'm hearing. I'm not taking what everybody hate about you or like about you, because I don't know you enough to have a disliking or hatred for you. I'm only talking about this topic that I see here at hand. And I'm not going to all the way disagree with you on some things, but I to everybody, I am going to explain why I feel the way I feel. I'm not just going to say something and let it hang in the air. Shout out to Daniel Murphy. Play one of the tracks, bro. $5 a track. You missed. I just played 2. I'll play 2 more at the end of this live. Notorious be appreciated. I'm a creative tech junkie as well. You do some awesome work anytime, man. All right, let me play her video. And I heard about 10 minutes of this, and then that's when I decided when I was gonna do it. So we're gonna play more than I actually heard on her channel. Let me remember how to. Oh man. I'm trying to figure out how they did it on here. Hold on, y'all. It took me to see the all in me. With that peace of mind came luxury. So I think I'm supposed to hit share and screen share, because I don't know any other way. You know what I'll do? This is what I'll do. Hold on, y'all. This is just easier for me to do. Hold on, y'all. I should have did this before I went live, because last time I tried to share and play it from my computer, people were saying that they couldn't hear it. So since people can't hear it, I'm just going to download a whole video. That'll get rid of everything by just download a whole video. Hold on, y'all. It's downloading fast. I'm already at 35%. I'm looking to the side like this because my screen is so large that my wireless charger is in front of the corner where I can see. I need to really set up my desk differently. How about this? I don't want to jinx it. We got like 8 seconds. And I jinxed it. Oh, come on, man. Hold on. Let me try something else. It'll get to like 98% and it'll stop downloading. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Hold on, y'all. Oh, it did it. My bad. It downloaded it. So all right, I'll go ahead and start it right now. It just didn't tell me that it did it. All right, so the video file share. I saved it into this folder, and there it is right here. So let me.
It should pop up and tell you that.
Let me find when he comes on.
Them as women. A lot of them have. These guys are always complaining onto this
Up channel.
All right, so the guy she's going to bring on, I don't remember his name. I don't even think I ever looked up his name. So my apologies to the guy. If you see this video, I don't know your name. But my titles are always for a specific reason, because people had a problem with what he was saying because he's white. And that's one of the issues we talk about. Is it cool that he's white and he's speaking on these issues? And if there's anything to look into, hypocrisy or anything in that. So this is a white guy who is going to talk about a community called the manosphere. And it is alleged that in the manosphere community, it's a bunch of black men that sit around all day and say negative things about black women and put down black women all the time. So him as an outsider, this is what he's looking at. And then I'm going to break down what he's saying. The reputation for people who don't know. I am also one of the people that don't know. I'm only going by what people say. They're saying that the black woman who has him on her channel to talk about the black men in the manosphere, this black woman, her whole channel is about putting down black men and getting black women to date white men or out of their race. I don't know. I have not looked into her that much. So I want to be clear that I don't want to put my reputation out that I'm going to go talk shit about somebody that I don't know. I don't know Cynthia G. I haven't seen a lot of her material. I probably heard her collectively. If I add up all the minutes I've heard her speak about something, maybe 10 minutes. So there's your background. And now we'll break him down.
From different men who want to jump on this high value man game. And it's like, I feel like they think that the recipe to success is to demean and degrade black women. Although there are very few high value black men, there just isn't a lot. number one, there isn't enough of them who make the income. And then within that, you have to weed out different categories of them. So the bottom line of it is there isn't even a lot of high value men.
Yo, I'm going to tell you from the start right now what I don't like about all the things that I'm hearing is that there's a tone of extreme negativity, no matter what side of the coin you're on. And I was thinking this morning before I know, I'm getting ready to know I'm gonna do this to kind of live. I'm like, yo, everybody think they got the right answers, but everybody is so dark and everybody is so negative and so serious when this is a conversation about who people should date, who other people, like I look at the real world we in and I go outside and we go eat with people or you hang out with your friends and people are living normal lives. They smile, they joke. You have a nice time when you go out, you go back to your home. It's just a normal world out here. But you come on here to this manosphere or people who talk about the manosphere and off top, the tone is so dark, serious and negative. Like everybody is on edge with their ideology. And they're looking angry. And as soon as you disagree with something about their ideology, they're ready to just attack you as a person, put on ad hominems and all of this stuff. And it's about who you want to date. That's the one thing I say off rip before we even get into anything that's fucking crazy to me.
And in the Black community, yet they'll sit up here and they weaponize this fake high value status, marriage, and a woman's desire to be in a stable relationship against Black women. And I think it's probably worse in our community than it is in everybody else's.
I also think you got to be careful with extreme bland generalizations. Because she said, women just want to be in a nice, stable relationship, which they do. I don't have a problem with that. But she's saying that that's all we want. And then that's why the manosphere attack us, because we're nice and we want to be in a relationship. Now you're going to find out as I keep talking, I don't agree with all that manosphere shit. But what I will say that if some of the guys in the quote unquote manosphere are going extremely detailed with points, then it would not be fair to just say that we're just innocent women who want to be loved in a relationship and they don't like us for that. Don't worry. There's a lot of bad things I'm about to point out about the manosphere, what they do. But just on that point, it's wrong to represent any individual that way, to just say such a bland general statement and hold them to that bland general statement to overshadow any details they may have inside of it. I would say that about Cynthia G's statement here.
Community, or it certainly seems that way. Obviously, it caught your attention. Like, what is it about the manosphere that kind of brought you over into this sector and being visible to, Kevin Samuels and to some of the other pop-up channels where they're all of a sudden everybody the high value man?
Yeah,
but what
totally.
made it attention?
Well, when I first started making videos, I was a lot more sympathetic towards the plight of the manosphere than what I am now, because I grew up a white guy growing up in New Zealand, just as it is, very multicultural, like I was actually a minority in my own city. And the very first thing people will say when they see me jump into this, onto this stream or whatever, they'll be like, oh, he's alt-right or some sort of underlying racial acrimony, which couldn't be further from the case. And I'm a very liberal guy, very accepting.
Oh my God. I got one super chat, Houdini Unchained, who's worried about the wrong thing right now. It is from Jade. Shout out to Jade, who also gave me something nice this morning, who is a friend of mine. So she knows I rock with her. And she understands. She's on multiple channels that I have. So don't worry about if I read super chats. I do read super chats, but she know I'll get to her. And she know that I'm trying to stay on subject here. So chill out with that bullshit, man. We got other bigger things to talk about.
And I was very sympathetic to the manosphere when I first kind of came into contact with it. Some of my early videos. In fact, the majority of people who are subscribed to my channel, I'm definitely going to share this video afterwards. A lot of them are basically insecure dudes that just can't meet women, can't talk to women, feel like they got sent their own way. I don't have any of these coping MGTOWs in my audience. I told them.
All right, so I'm gonna say one good thing what he just said and one bad thing. Good thing is when he said that a lot of these are insecure people, something bad happened to them, they don't like women. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. I do see that in a lot of guys that follow these guys in the manosphere. Even when you take someone like a Kevin Samuels, who Kevin Samuels feel in his heart, He has all the right information to help you get into a successful relationship. He brag about the percentage and numbers of happy couples who got together due to his advice. I disagree, but that's what Kevin Samuels feels inside. He feels he's doing a great service. Cool. But the guys that be following Kevin Samuels, it'd be a lot of them dudes that are really, really angry at fucking women because they got turned down by a woman. So now they feel that some guy is speaking up for them and they can just come on and bash women. You see this in videos that Kevin Samuels do when a woman isn't acting in the way that Kevin Samuels is saying. It doesn't matter what she does. It doesn't matter how intelligent she shows herself. It doesn't matter how respectful she shows herself. If you look at the side chat, they're saying the most immature, barbaric thing to clown and jump on a woman with such venom that it just make them look crazy and they don't realize it. So I do see this in the audience. Where I'm gonna disagree with this guy, this white dude right here, is because he comes, and we'll go into more details in a little bit. He comes from a different community that do the same thing, but what he's gonna brag about here coming up is actually hurting him worse. He's saying that they do this to black women, but we just do it to all women. You're still trying to stereotype and put down women. You just have a bigger, broader category that you stereotype into that put down women for. So what makes you more better than any of the guys in the manosphere? That's the first thing I heard. He said that like it's great. You know, they say all these things about black women. Yeah, we said about women, period. I was like, nigga, you just as fucked up then. You know, if you take the negative stereotypes and go on your channel and go on your streams to just talk negative about fucking women, I've never seen no shit like that before coming from men, period, that they just got this need to put down women all the time. So if we can make the assumption that if a black man has a YouTube channel where he's putting down black women, that he's going to attract guys that has been dissed by black women and have this hatred for them. So that's the only reason they're watching. If you draw that conclusion from this black manosphere, wouldn't it be safe to draw a conclusion from your manosphere, period, that when you say these things about all women, that you're going to attract loser guys who have been dissed by all women of different races? What the fuck make you any better, my dude?
Long ago, I think you guys are just delusional. That you think that, you know, I saw a video the other day titled "Young Attractive Women Are Becoming Homeless Due to the Rise of MGTOW," and I just about fell off my chair, like, at how delusional these guys are. But yeah, a lot of my subscribers, they're very black pill, they're very kind of incel-esque. But as time goes on, I've moved further and further away from my sympathy towards 90% of these manosphere guys, because it started off with looking at the white manosphere. You know, these 50-year-old bald white truck drivers sitting in their car ranting against women, how women are all entitled and women, you know, I'm so lucky to have finally gone MGTOW. And I'm watching these guys and I'm thinking, like, I understand you don't want to get married. I understand that you want to go your own way. But at the end of the day, these women that you hate so much, if you were to create a Tinder profile with your photo versus any one of these women that you denigrate constantly on your streams, they would get 100 times many more matches than what you would get. And I became
I agree with him. It'd be a lot of attractive women that these guys cut down. A lot of these guys, it all started from they had no ability to get women. But at the same time, we cannot forget, just because you feel that way doesn't give you the go ahead to disregard any detailed argument someone has. I can see somebody's a lonely loser who don't know how to talk to women. So now he angry and pissed off at women. So now he want to come on and lash out, and I can put him down for that. But at the same time, whatever detailed argument come out of his mouth, I'm still going to make sure that I respond to that as well. You know,
increasingly disillusioned with the manosphere, and I started making videos against certain characters very tentatively at first. I'm like, hang on a second. These guys are always complaining about single mothers, yet they advocate for going around and sleeping around and picking up women. And it's like, but you're the ones creating the single mothers that you blame society for all of its woes. And that led me to the black manosphere. And that was a completely different kettle of fish as well, because every video, like I came into contact with Kevin Samuels, right? I found his channel, and every video he's attacking black women. He sometimes frames it as just, quote, women, but he always frames it as black women. That's also another big thing. And all of his little, I call them house Negroes, all the little guys that simp for him, all of these buck dancing guys that constantly spam at Kevin Samuels in the title, constantly trying to suck up to Kevin Samuels.
My thing about a white dude going on the internet and calling a black guy a house Negro is quite simple. Because I'm in my 40s now. I'm more laid back. If it is like you can do anything in the world you want to do. If you want to be a serial killer, you go out there and kill a bunch of people. You can do whatever you want to do as long as you can handle the consequences. Set chances are you be a serial killer, you're gonna get caught, you're gonna kill somebody in a state that got the death penalty, and because you killed so many people with lack of empathy, they're gonna fry you, put you in the chair. If you can deal with all the consequences, you can do whatever you want to. Just keep the same energy. So if this dude here willing to go on the internet and so free willing to call black people house Negroes, knock yourself out, do it, bruh. Just keep that same energy in real life and just say it freely around all black people. Any black person you get around, know the consequences. You go from someone black looking at you and get into an argument with you, or it can go from a group of black guys that's gonna knock you the fuck out. If you that willy badass online, then just go do the shit in real life. And if you can deal with every consequence that's happened, do what you do, bruh. I don't believe it. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen somebody just free willy just call some black dudes a house Negro like that. I would say this is more indicative of Cynthia G and how it makes Cynthia G look. I know she don't care if she's going under the moniker of she's a black woman, that she dislike black guys. If that's true, that she dislike black guys. And so this would be more edgy and more shocking to get people to watch her channel and make her stuff grow. And you get the selfish gratification of more money on the 21st of each month when YouTube pays out. Awesome and cool. Same thing with Cynthia G, as long as she can deal with all the consequences that's going to come from this extreme hatred and how it's going to block her off from many more opportunities in the future to work with such large brandings, if that's her choice to do.
They're all denigrating black women. Yet one thing I've noticed about these guys is if you say one cross word to them, if you refer to them as house Negroes, they're like, oh, he's being racist, which of course I'm not. It's like some of my favorite icons from history.
Yeah, but you have to, I mean, this is the thing. It sounds a certain way. It does.
It does sound a certain way.
It sounds a certain way.
So this is my thing about you having the knowledge of knowing that it sounds a certain way. If you care to be effective and you have a message, then the point of being effective is to find the best means to present your information where it's palatable to reach a wider range of people. So if you're trying to reach people who may listen up to these guys that you know, and how you feel negatively about the guys in the manosphere, how can you appear to think that the most effective way is for me to be a white man to go onto a black woman's channel and then tell everybody that's listening that these are house Negroes? I don't think that is a more effective way, because just from you saying and calling black men house Negroes, you can make 35,000 videos off that. You can see a bunch of videos. Now, what if you had something else more credible to say? What if you had some more viewpoints? I agree that people should listen to your viewpoints. I always preach that, but that's the world as I would like it to be. If we don't deal in the idealism, we deal in the reality. People don't want to do that all the time. They'll hang on this and it'll overshadow anything you have to say. So if you're an intelligent man, why would you come here to say something like this, knowing that it could derail anything you're trying to say? Because that would also make you a hypocrite, because what you're saying is, fuck the little insignificant points that any man may have in the manosphere. I'm calling them out for them just talking negative about women, period. So with them talking about women, period, don't pay attention to their argument. Look at the one negative thing that they do and disregard everything else. Well, what if someone did you the same way? Just because you call them house Negroes, disregard everything else you say. That's just me, though.
I mean, I feel you, but it sounds a certain way. It really do.
Totally. and that's why
it hit hard when you said it.
Look, I'm sorry. That's just how I looked at these guys. These guys that are just totally dusty, attacking black women. And I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, but you are not high value men. You guys are just these low value men that got sent your own way. And they're constantly calling themselves high value men. And I just couldn't understand it. So that's basically how I came into contact.
Yo, you know what's crazy? on the high value man thing, how they see each other, and whoever makes over 100,000. There's some YouTubers that were broke, dusty, and they were not under this fake shit that I don't agree with. I do not agree with this fake thing of high value man and somebody's subjective opinion means that once you reach over 100,000, I don't agree with it. But y'all know what I do on my channel. I take someone's opposing view and I assume that it's right. So let's assume that their viewpoint is right and you make over $100,000, you're a high value man. A lot of them were not high value men. And by preaching this rhetoric to everybody, on the 21st of each month, so many people come and listen to them. They getting paid by like $15,000 a month on YouTube, putting them over the threshold to be a high value man. So sometimes hatred could help your enemy out. Because if you're a woman and you don't like this rhetoric, but you keep going over to watch them diss women because you can't pull away from watching the hatred, you are literally turning them into their own definition of a high value man when they weren't a high value man to start or begin with. They're getting their money from YouTube. Just something I was thinking about. And you can see it. I don't even have to call out names. You can see what the kind of money someone was making before they went on YouTube, and then the money they made once they blew up in subscribers and views on YouTube. You're creating the people that you don't like
with these guys.
Yeah. What was one of the biggest differences? Because you said that was a whole different beast than, the white manosphere. And of course, that is where the black manosphere got it from. Like, they copied it from the white manosphere. They basically took the blueprint.
Now, y'all know Cynthia G more than me. So y'all probably gonna have a different opinion. I don't know her, so I can only go by what I hear. It did sound like him saying house Negroes bothered Cynthia G, but it sounds like she put her convictions to the back. It sounds like she don't want a white man to come on her channel and call black men house Negroes, but she's so afraid to lose the guests. She's so afraid to go against just that one point, which if you like somebody, you don't have to agree with every single thing they say in the first place. She could have liked this white man's opinion on everything else, but if this makes you cringe, if you feel uncomfortable about him saying this, but you kind of smile and put it to the back on that, you're putting this white man higher than your own morals. So that's what I get from how I heard on this clip here, because she made sure she said that, and she came back to reiterate, like, yeah, but she did it so soft. She did it so passive that, to me, you care more about having this guy as a guest than your own morals and convictions.
What was one of like the biggest differences that you noticed between the black manosphere versus what you saw among like the white truckers who were just talking about women?
Well, probably the biggest difference is that the white manosphere would talk about just women, whereas the black manosphere would say black women. And the thing is, right,
he gonna this is where I came in listening last time, but it's funny to me that he think he right. They're stereotyping different things. I'm going to stereotype women. They're going to stereotype black women. Motherfucker, both of y'all doing the same shit. You stereotyping a group of people. There's nothing better about you. You have a wider net of shit that you're putting onto women. And if you stereotyping all women, that means you're stereotyping the black women that the black men are stereotyping too. Man, I almost gave dude to slap a guard for that, but I'm gonna let him finish his little statement, man.
When they would talk about white women, they wouldn't say, well, white women. They would just talk about women. That would be their analogy that they would use. Whereas with black women, they would say, they would specifically point out the black women, but name the same flaws. And I kind of felt that maybe there was some sort of like internalized like self-loathing there. That's kind of the sense that I got. All right,
I told you. Some people gonna do. If you hate Cynthia G, you probably gonna like me. If you like Cynthia G, you probably gonna like me, because everybody ain't 100% wrong. When he says that he hears self-loathing in these men as they put down black women, I kind of hear the same thing. Some of these guys tell their backstory. They go into great details of how they went to a club and black women dissed them and put them down. But if they would have went to another race, they wouldn't have got dissed like that. To me, when I hear that shit, you got weak ass game. You need to look within yourself and see why she was cool with another black dude, but she went cool with your punk ass. Or they talk about how they grew up, or how their black mom treated them, or how it's always some shit. They don't like their dark black skin. It's always some shit that you hear inside. So on this point, I agree with this white dude that it do feels this way. And there's also things that you want to care about too. You want to care about truth, but you also want to care about optics, especially when you're trying to push a narrative. The optics, it looks like y'all motherfuckers be, y'all got this self-loathing hatred when you put down black women. The biggest thing nobody ever talk about to me, the elephant in the room, is that you're not being a man to me, in my subjective opinion. If you right wing and you go and put down everybody saying they're making excuses, stop making excuses. You don't need welfare. Get off your ass and work. You'll tell everybody don't make an excuse about everything in the world, but as soon as you can't get a woman, you put it on a woman for being bad is why you can't get her, and you start making excuses, not keeping your same right-wing ideology that you had. Be consistent on your shit, my brother. If you can control and do everything else, why is the woman problem when you can't get her? That's the shit I be seeing, bro.
I feel that a lot of these guys in the black manosphere, I feel that a lot of them have a combination of narcissism and an inferiority complex at the same time. And that's a very dangerous mix when you
I agree with the white man on that statement.
Have these guys that have a kind of narcissistic attitude, like I'm better than everybody, but you can tell that they have an inferiority complex, because at the end of the day, it's like they complain that average women have unrealistically high standards. But if they were these high value men that they preach that they are, then why would you be so upset that average looking women have high standards? It's because you think that that's the best you can get. So with regards to the white manosphere and the black manosphere,
hold on, let me run him on this point right here. I want to make sure I understand clearly what he's saying.
The biggest difference is that you like
name the same flaws. And I kind of think it's right. When they would talk about white women, they wouldn't say, well, white women. They would just talk about women. That would be their analogy that they would use. Whereas with white men, a lot of them have a combination of narcissism and an inferiority complex at the same time. And that's a very dangerous mix when you have these guys that have a kind of narcissistic attitude, like I'm better than everybody. But you can tell that they...
All right, two things we got to keep clear. I don't know these men. So I can't say, if they feel like they're better than anybody. But I can talk about optics. I can talk about how something come across. I can talk about how something looks. Not all of them, but a lot of them do come across on the optics. Like you feel that you are better. But at the same time of not making excuses, why are you in the audience making a man feel like he's better than you? Why you make a man opinion feel like it's better? I'll go listen to these guys and listen to their opinion and go on and enjoy my motherfucking day. Nothing they say bothers it. I take what they say with a grain of salt. It's like there's one dude with his crazy ass opinion, and I go on and I forget the opinion that they even said. While some of y'all put them on a pedestal that what they say is godlike. Like, man, my life messed up, man. I gotta get over 100,000. I gotta be a high value man. Y'all listen to this shit like it's gospel, like it's real. It's one stranger you ain't ever met with an opinion. So if they are narcissists, a lot of people in the audience is what's feeding this narcissism. These dudes just a dude to me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people feed into that. Yesterday I did a live called Do I care about how I come across because I care that people like my message. My message I wanted to create is an environment that we all can talk to each other. We don't have to have our chests out up front and be scared like we're about to debate and feel sorry when our opinion feel like it's wrong or invalidated from another person, delivering better information with more details. I just want to have a conversation. So I'm like, if some people think that I just feel like I'm all that and I think I'm all right, then my optics is wrong. I need to do something to change that because what I want to come across is not coming across. So I even cared to ask my audience to keep that open. Whereas a lot of these guys, not all of them, but a lot of these guys sit on there like they're God, and their word is gospel. Their word is the truth. And if you don't follow their way, you will have a horrible, shitty life. But when you are not secure within yourself, when you're the person, then you become a follower. Then you start to believe that their word is the gospel. So it always starts within. I stay consistent across the board. If y'all gonna tell people, get off food stamp, do everything yourself, stop making excuses, stop using racism. If you tell everybody to do stuff themselves, at the same time, keep that same energy on every situation. You can't get a woman, fix your motherfucking game. Look within first. And if you do, it don't matter if they're narcissists because ain't nobody listening to them.
They have an inferiority complex because at the end of the day, it's like they complain that average women have unrealistically high standards. But if they were these high value men that they preach that they are,
sorry about that, y'all.
Then why would you be so upset that average looking women have high standards? It's because you think that that's the best you can get. So with regards to the white manosphere,
so this is what I learned, right? How they explain it. They explain it. I don't agree with this bullshit. They explain it as, oh, I'm cool, I'm pimp, I can get any woman I want. But there's a lot of average men out here, hardworking average men that women are not looking at because they have unrealistic expectations. Let me tell y'all some real shit ain't nobody saying, bro. There's a lot of people out here who have a high expectation and they don't go for that. You ask a woman, would you rather have a man with $10 million and everything else fit what you like? Or would you rather have a man with $50,000 and everything fit what you like? You fucking idiot. She's going to say the man with $2 million. So you set up a platform. Oh, so what kind of man would you like? Yeah, I want to, if I had my perfect guy, he'll make why would a woman say he would not make a lot of money? Doesn't mean that she would not talk to anybody of less, because a lot of these women do talk to people who don't make that much money. Why would it be wrong for her goals to be higher, for her to want something better? So when you feel like I'm a YouTuber, I'm all that, I can get any woman that I want to, I'm pimped out, but there's a lot of guys who can't. So I need to let them know this real expectation that they might as well just lower their expectations to get this lower guy. A lot of women who even feel that way, they're not even going for it. They're not holding out and not having sex and just staying alone forever until they find that man who makes $150,000, $200,000. That's not what's happening in the real world. What's happening in the real world is that a lot of guys who come to these dudes are lame. They don't know how to talk to women. They have failed over and over again with women. A lot of them, not all of them. That's what's happening in the real world. And if you are a guy who has been rejected and feel this way, so you're going over to cheer on a man to bash a woman, I'm going to let y'all know a little secret. When you log off that YouTuber's live and you log off YouTube and you go back in your real life, when you go to see a beautiful woman shopping, when you go to see a beautiful woman at the club or at the bar or anywhere in life and you go to talk to her, she is not going to look at you and say, you know what? I typically want better than you. But since you listen to said YouTuber and there's a new ideology in the world, I'm going to open my legs to you. You're still going to have to earn that woman. You still going to have to know how to talk to a woman. No amount of bashing in the world is single-handedly going to help you. And if you pay attention to the words that these YouTubers say, yeah, they'll get the money by putting down women. But if you pay them to be a consultant for you on how to get women, he's not going to tell you, you're not going to pay him money and he going to put down a woman. You're going to pay him money and then he going to tell you how to fix yourself. Do you fucking get that? Why would the YouTube message be how women are wrong? But if you pay him to be your consultant, he's not going to give you advice on how women are wrong. He's going to give you advice how to fix your motherfucking self from the inside so you can come across as presentable and to talk to a woman. These niggas, man.
Fear and the black manosphere, the difference.
Look within. That's your answer.
Between the two is that the white manosphere, sometimes they do. Like I've seen video titles like The State of White Women. I've seen guys do like videos like that. But I've noticed that with the white man, and I don't mean to like differentiate that they're two separate different things, because there is some overlap there.
I told you, every side gonna hate me because I'm gonna point out the wrong I see in all of them. And that's normal, because no one should believe one human being got all the right answers. There's always nuances. There's always assholes who say something right. There's always good people that say something wrong. Hell, in my statement today, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna say something wrong, but my mind is open to learn. And I'm just tired of hearing the extremist bullshit that's out here and got people who don't believe in themselves to choose a side and raise these people up to continue to spew out this bullshit.
But the difference is the black manosphere are always talking about what's wrong with black women, whereas the white manosphere are usually talking about what's wrong with women per se.
Both wrong. If I had to pick, you are more wrong than they are, because simply you're talking about more people. But both of y'all motherfuckers is wrong.
And that seems to be it. And like I said, a lot of internalized self, it's almost like they fetishize white women. That's the other thing I've noticed as well. Some of these guys will fetishize white women. And
I've heard that too. And it's very nuanced. You can date whoever you want to. You want to date a white person, date a white person. Want to date an Asian person, date that. You can date whoever you want to. But some weird shit when you start comparing them against each other. A guy went against me, and he had never dated a white person. He goes and dates a white woman, and as soon as he dates a white woman, he starts making YouTube videos about how all the women in my past, they were meh. But this new white woman, he made sure to say because her skin is white. That's why. Even if he felt, which most people feel, the current person you're with got a lot of better attributes than the last person you've ever dated, simply because you believe in yourself that you've matured enough to choose better, you don't have to attribute the new stuff you like about your new white girlfriend to her skin just only being white. But they did it to make a point, because that's how they make money on YouTube, was to bash black women. So it's better to hold this white person up on a pedestal to use that to put down black women. That's when it becomes an issue. I remember back in the day with Crystal Carrison, I guess, I don't know if this is where Cynthia G want to go. You know, if you want to tell black women there's another option, open up your options. You know, there's a lot of more love out there to give. Instead of dating black, you can choose some white people, whatever. Cool, no problem with that. The problem comes in when you take that philosophy and you only use it to make YouTube videos to show how dating white people is so much better than dating black people. That's when the issue comes in.
it's like, well, hang on a second. You're fetishizing them. What does that say about you as a person? There seems to be a lot of, like, they can't accept who they are, maybe. I don't know. There's so many of them, and they have such varying psychology, but that seems to be what I've picked up on.
So, you know, that was actually a question from one of my members, since we're on this subject, because I agree. You know, there was somebody
I feel bad that I'm not reading the comments, because I know a lot of y'all got comments about this right here too. So I'm gonna try to go up and read some comments so far on what I've been saying. Y'all know me, man. When I go live, I try to read comments. And I know y'all writing long comments and shit about this one right here. YouTube bus spearheaded this black manosphere BS. It's a bashing for below average BMs with no options. They flock to social media echo chamber, but it only reinforces their inadequacy. Marcus G, that was brilliant. Love that comment. I want to listen to his argument. However, house Negro and buck dancing, just no, I can't. I can tell he's not from the US. Anonymous Wish, that's the problem. Not to Anonymous Wish. Shout out to Anonymous Wish. But to the white guy who said that shit, that's the issue. You want to be edgy and say this shit about black people, but you still feel like you got a message that you want black people to hear about the negative parts of this manosphere. You're going to lose people on that. And if you came to America, it's a strong chance you're going to get punched in the fucking mouth. You create this bubble around yourself to make it harder to penetrate for anybody to listen to the actual message that you do have. He is saying black men do not protect their women. He is saying throughout history, black men have not led anything. Let's keep going, Nicole Martinez, and see, does he do that continuously to go through history? I don't down KC because he found the lane. All these YouTubers aren't doing material for free. Everybody looking for some money. A bland generic statement. I don't even know how to respond to that, because I don't care if you're successful at getting money. I care how you're successful at getting money pitted against an ideology that can hurt my people. That means more to me than a nigga putting some money in his motherfucking pocket. Megan said, it seems it was a misunderstanding. John said before he started talking about the video he is reacting to, he won't be checking chat, so he stays on topic. Yes. If you've been coming over here, you do know I go in here and I always read comments from people, but this is a very hot video that, you know, I'm trying to make sure I get my thoughts out about on. Again, you are speaking without hearing her out. She checks him. Well, Nicole, what was the purpose in you telling me I'm speaking without hearing her out? How can I not hear somebody out when I'm playing the video? I'm reacting as I go. So that I don't know how to respond to that, because as I keep going, then you would have typed that for no reason. So if you're like a hypocrite, you're telling me I'm responding to something for no reason, well, you're doing the same fucking shit. Because if you just chilled and I said that, you'd have saw. I'm keeping it going. So, is having a lane more important than your integrity? Thank you, Go Mike Podcast. And if somebody else would have sent me that $10 super chat, I probably would have read it more faster. But just because I know Jay and I know she knows me and know how I rock, I know she understands if I keep going a little bit. But she know I appreciate her very much, and she's a mod on my other channel. This slime tripping, you cut her off right when she was checking him. So here you go, Nicole. I got to the part, and then after that, you saw that it wasn't checking him enough. For if that was really against your morals, that wasn't a check to me. That wasn't a check to me. That was some new NBA 2021 defense. That wasn't no 1999 NBA defense. Laughing and giggling, but yeah. That's not a check to me, boo-boo. This white dude sound like Hunter Biden's text. I'm not a fan of any YouTuber. That's right. Don't ever be a fan of no YouTuber. I just take my emotions out of it. I don't agree with KS, but money runs this Western society. I could rebuttal you by finding something you absolutely loathe and hate and you wish wasn't on the planet. And I tell you another YouTuber is doing that, but he's successfully making money off doing that. Then you may feel how we feel on these subjects if this climate grows and grows, how it can affect our community. How does Sinji not see that her hatred for a black man is blinding her, yet she claims to be so intelligent? I've been disrespected by black men so much, I disregard most of what y'all say. I think that could be a loss for you, Goddess Sweet Pea. Come on, Nicole is both wrong. The self-hate is clear. Cynthia G won't open up her phone lines to people with disagreements. She only has people on her show which agree with everything she said. I would go on Cynthia G's show. Nicole Martinez is arguing with people in the audience. You can't keep antagonizing black women and think the outsiders don't see you and call you a sellout. Thumbs up to D for Daphne for saying that. I'm sorry, guys. There's just gonna be some statements I'm gonna have to catch on the replay because there's a lot of comments here. Sweet Pea Sin is the victim in this video. First thing I said is he disrespecting her as well. She black just like us. I don't know if I want to call her a victim. Marcus said nothing is wrong with the term house Negro. It's a historically correct term for black people, specifically black men that worship at the feet of white men. Malcolm used the term in a speech. Marcus, my theory is say whatever you want to say as long as you can deal with the overall consequences, no matter how, to the top level of how the best thing that can happen to the worst thing that can happen. If you're okay with those, say whatever the fuck you want to say. Interculturally, this New Zealander is asked about the dynamics of black men and black women in America. Yep, he is asked to come onto the show. Integrity is not most important to most YouTubers. You're right about that. It is important to me. He's stereotyping black men, so he needs to. Now, I don't know if he's stereotyping all black men. He's stereotyping the black man in the manosphere, but some of the shit he's saying is true, and it may want to make you take a look in the mirror, even if it's just from the optics and not how you really feel, but how you're presenting yourself to look to the world. Her fans are lurking here. That's cool. I welcome anybody. I bet they won't say nothing in detail. I'll respond to it. Her rhetoric sounds like white women's fight against white men. We don't have that type of control over anything that keep black women oppressed. YouTube just showed me a bunch of hurt motherfuckers that can gather in one spot for validation. Thumbs up to P got smoked for real. I agree with that comment. P got smoked. Exactly, John. That's projection at its finest. Shout out to Jaquel Thomas, been over here representing. That point is not very valid. If you're having better outcomes from other races rather than your race, then question why it's valid. So TT Gamer Op, when someone said if you date nothing but black women, right, and then you date one white woman, and everything that's good you contributed to only her being white, you're not only dissing black people, you're dissing the white woman that you're dating too. You're telling this white woman there's nothing special about you being Joanne or Kimberly. Fuck all that detail shit. You're not special as a human being. The only reason you're special is because your skin is white. So I can take you, Kimberly or Jennifer, and throw your ass out of the equation and go grab any random white person, because how I feel is just the skin that's making you better than all the black women that I've dated. So you're dissing black women and you're dissing the person that you're dating as white as well. You know, contribute good portions to a person, to them being to them as an individual, not from fucking what race they are. And besides, if you dated nothing but black women and you date one white woman and you contribute everything to her skin being white, if you want me to remove emotions out of it and just look at scientifically, you have not dated enough white people to gather this information to make this bland generalization anyway. Y'all motherfuckers kill me, bro. The funny thing is she started out saying G used to address racism in the workplace and black men excessively interracial dating, and then she switched up. Black manosphere are weirdos. I'm out. I have to go earn money because I'm actually a high value alpha in this society. Black manosphere. Okay. Cool, man. Go earn you some money, man. You don't have to know them to know if you put someone down to make yourself look better, to have a complex. It is worse when black women are specifically singled out by black men in the manosphere. It's worse because of the tendency of black men to place other groups of women above their own counterparts. I think that's pretty fucking pathetic, Mrs. Khan. I really do think that's pathetic when men do that. Some white men suffer from narcissism and inferior complex at the same time. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to skip some comments. So I'm gonna be here reading all day, and I'm never gonna get on with the video, man. It makes me cringe that you guys put so much into your comment, and I can't get to them all. Miss $24.99. I do see you up there, Miss Ken, and I'm definitely gonna get to you. And nobody should project what a select few inflicted upon you have to have a collective group. That's irresponsible. This white dude is very condescending, in my opinion, yet laughs at the idea of him being considered racist. The problem with the manosphere guys is that they are not interesting enough for women to pay attention to them. Is it their fault? No. I don't know, Gold Mike Podcast. I like your comments. I may have to disagree with you when you say, is it their fault? If someone can do what you can't do, take it upon yourself to learn to do it. I never not got a woman and she went after a dude for like who makes way more money than me and felt bad and mad at her because she chose to make way more money than me. My brain works different. If a woman doesn't choose me and she goes after a guy who got way more money than me, my brain starts thinking about there is somebody on this planet Earth who made the same amount of money that I made, that had the know-how to get this woman to like him so much she would have never considered the guy with more money. This human being is walking this earth and they exist. So if they exist and in the same situation I'm in, then what do I need to learn to get my game up to how that guy is? I just always take it upon myself. I don't use excuses. I'm doing the same ideology most of these guys think in the manosphere. They just don't hold themselves accountable to this ideology when it comes to dating, which is fucking weird to me. I play the numbers as long as you keep shooting your shots and consistently be where women are. Somebody gonna bite. Yeah. All right, man. I'm sorry. I'm back down, but I was in the military, read all my material, and still didn't know I knew what I was doing until I actually had experience, hence an educated dummy. Y'all really hate Nicole Martinez in the chat, man. Don't do the gang up pitchfork thing on it though, man. Like, debate her points, whatever y'all not liking about her, but like, you know, don't try to gang up on her. Real is teaching right now. It's about the person, not the skin. Race isn't even yeah, it's if you some white woman, you dating a black dude and he putting down all these black women and saying that you're good because you're white, he's putting down you as an individual. That means he has no respect for you. You're just as irreplaceable. I understand how people don't see that. Now to Miss Ken Porter. Always great content. I told you when I see you, Miss Ken Porter, I'm gonna give you a big old hug. So definitely appreciate you contributing to the channel and helping your mans out, because I'm quite sure a topic like this will be demonetized. We would do well to recognize that white patriarchal gender labels have not benefited apply to us. Let's get back to what he's saying, y'all. Let's get back to what he's saying.
Was watching, and this is a sidebar, and they were saying, they were trying to bring the argument that, you know, white men denigrate their women like black men do. And, you know, I said, no, from what I've seen, they will complain about women, but they will never actually target their own women. They will never say white women are this, that, and the third, nor do they talk about white women's features that are identifiable as her being a white woman, yet black men do all the time. So one of the
I remember hearing this yesterday when I decided I was going to talk about it. And I want to take up for Cynthia G, because way back when I went against a YouTuber who made a living off putting out only black women, it's a difference when you are out here stereotyping and saying that these negative things are black women's actions. I can break that down. But it's a whole different world when you try to go out here and try to say how black women are lesser attractive than other women on the planet. If you start using science and bone structure and all of this shit in videos after you have videos saying actions make black women worse, can I have a Coke? Y'all know when I say, can I have a Coke, that means I don't got nothing else to argue with. You have proven that you don't like black women and is deeper than the action. You're now trying to prove and show how they're less attractive in the world. There's something up with you and your biasness that you just generally don't like black women. And you'll do anything to try to destroy black women, which is fucking sad. But it's even more sad that there are people that follow you. I never look at the YouTuber because they're one person. I look at the amount of people that buy into that bullshit.
One of my subs wanted to know, you know, what do you think about, you know, seeing black men sit up and glorify, you know, specifically white women while demeaning black women, the very ones that they came from? Like, what did when you
again? I know of a couple in my head, but I don't know everybody in the black manosphere to say that this is what all black men in the manosphere is doing. 'Cause I don't want to follow down a wrong generalization. I definitely see the shit though. Definitely see it from the people that I've seen who videos I have watched that they do this. But I want to make it clear, Somebody may be in the manosphere and feel like they don't do that. Say you can't find me doing none of that shit on my channel. So I don't want to throw this blanket statement over the manosphere, period.
You guys see that, and when I say you guys, that I'm saying white guys, of course. But what do you think about that when you see that?
So with regards to that, so I don't know exactly what the psychology behind that is, but what I have noticed this trend where I think what happened is that a lot of these.
I got you, Crystal. You got let me cook. Let me cook. But I got you, Crystal Bush.
Black men, right? They had an experience with a black woman, and because there's so much maybe self-awareness over their ethnicity, maybe there's so much self-awareness on that level. Perhaps what it is that they've had an experience with a black woman, but
Manosphere. There's always cliques of YouTubers you watch, Ken Porter, on YouTube. So there may be, like me, there's a true crime community, and then there's a drama true crime community where just all these YouTubers make videos about each other every day. They aren't really in true crime. They may came over from true crime, but they're really just drama channels that spew out negativity. So there's always pockets of society in YouTube, just like there's pockets of society in real life. So the manosphere, what appears to me is this pocket of society of black YouTubers that come on here, and a lot of their, I feel worried to do this because I'm generalizing, and I hate to generalize, but just to give you a quick overview, and make sure, Ken Porter, you listen to people, you read people comment, because they may have more knowledge than I do on this. But it seems that the manosphere talk about the unfairness that women have. A lot of them focus on black women, what black women do wrong, men's rights, men right issues, which I think you think you're being hard, but you're being a fucking baby. They talk about generally topics like that over and over again every day when they come online. So that's pretty much the manosphere. There's a couple, and it's always the same people that's inside of this group.
Because there's so much societal narratives around the black community, maybe they internalize that as a racial thing. Whereas maybe with white men, they don't see white women as white women. They just see them as women. And I'm not sure if this is answering the question.
Well, I will say this, and this is just a subjective opinion. When he says that black men see it as this what black women do, white men see it as this what women do. That could be true. Another thing that could be true is that there's some white men who just don't give a fuck about the black community at all. So when they talk about women, yeah, they're saying women in general, but they only really mean white women because they haven't even checked out other societies. They haven't even checked out how they feel about Asian women, black women, Hispanic women. So they may just be generally talking about women, but in the same situation, they just may be talking about white women. It's a general statement. But either way, even if you're just talking about women, like women, women is a minority. So if they're talking about black women, it's talking about a minority. If you're just talking about women, you're talking about a minority, a social minority.
Answering the question or not, but I think maybe a lot of it surrounds the narrative of the culture that they live in. Does that make sense, or is that not really answering the question?
Well, it has become a culture, though. It has become a culture, and it is internalized self-hatred, because on my last stream,
Cynthia, if you watch this, right, I want to ask you a question. You are intelligent enough to see that black men are here putting down black women into this big generalized group, and you have determined through that it could be some self-hatred involved, right? I agree with some of those things, that it could be self-hatred, it could be narcissism, it could be the lack of confidence in these men, since they hold themselves accountable for everything else. But when it comes to dating, this is the one subject they don't hold themselves accountable for. If you're intelligent enough to recognize this, Cynthia G, why don't you recognize this in yourself? If your YouTube channel is only to big up white men and other races and put down black men, you are no different than the people that you're talking about, especially if you come online to spew this ideology because you was done wrong by a black man. What could you explain the difference there to me? And I'm open-minded to listen to you. I'm not being rude or trying to make you look bad. It's so bland and right in your face. I have to ask you, why can't you see this in yourself? You're literally making money on YouTube doing the same thing that you're talking about the black men and the manosphere is doing. So I would love to hear that answer.
Live stream, a white guy, he called in. He was from, the States like me. And I asked him, a similar question I asked them, why is it that they don't demean and degrade white women's image publicly? And he immediately said, because if we did, we would be demeaning ourselves. So he immediately saw himself as an extension of his women, which is normal. I think the law.
It's incredible for you to say this, Cynthia G. It's incredible the lack of self-awareness you have, or you're just playing a system to get money on the 21st of each month. You're saying that, he not looking at it like as just white women because he don't want to put them down because he feel like he want to take up for them. It would be bad if he did, but you make videos singling out and only putting down black men. For the people who have been coming to my channel who's not new during this live, this is why this example that Cynthia G can make this statement and not see it in herself is the reason why I said I no longer have the capability to know when someone's being genuine with their beliefs or if they're just lying to make money. I have no fucking clue to pull this way or this way to know if Cynthia G just is trying to make money on the 21st or she actually believing the bullshit that comes out of her mouth. Because there's no way you can make this statement and then make videos bashing black men and showing how white men are so much better and women should date white men. There's absolutely no way you can do this. It's so preposterous. It makes me like, yo, is this just for fucking money? How can she not? I don't know. I no longer have the ability to tell.
Largest issue is that black men have attempted to separate themselves from black women, despite the fact that we give birth to them. And so I do think that, but I think you would have to, in your mind, separate yourself, but it's not respectable. Like, do you guys look at black men as respectable when they sit up and demean and degrade black women, when you guys know how important it is to understand that your women are an extension of you?
Well, absolutely, because the thing is, right, and I apologize for using that term, but the reason why I used it before is what I see when I see people like Kevin Samuels, right, and I see these men who are basically putting these black women up on their streams, and just it reminds me of a symbolic public execution. And I see these guys throwing all of this shade at, quote, black women. It reminds me of those guys that would worship their slave master and they would betray their own women. That's what it reminds me of.
And this is why I say everybody gonna hate me. There's no way I can win because people are followers and they like one YouTuber, so they want me to say only good about them, or they want me to say good about them, and I'm pointing out the flaws in everybody. This white man is saying the truth right here. That's how I feel. I didn't need a white man to tell me that when I come online and every night, going back for 8 years, there are black men on the internet and all they do is put down black women. I'm just like, yo, like, you post somebody up and you break them down viciously and you justify this, and then you're going to get away with it because we have a lot of insecure black men that's in the audience that are just angry that they don't have no motherfucking game. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it makes me cringe inside to sit up here and see this all the time. I feel so bad. And the only thing that makes me smile again is feel happy is that this is some internet bullshit. You lame loser. You're going to have to log off of here and you're going to go try to talk to a woman and no good is going to come from that. Kevin Samuels can't save you because you're not looking within yourself to see what's so fucked up about you that you can't get a woman. Oh, boy. I don't want to agree with a motherfucker that comes online and says that, we got some fucking, what did he say? Whatever that fucking pseudo racist shit he said. But make it better, make it easy, make it more palatable. Make the shit he's saying in this portion of the video not be fucking true.
In your mind, separate yourself, but it's not respectable. Like, do you guys look at black men as respectable when they sit up and the mean and the gray?
And yeah, I rewinded it. I'm just like, I rewinded it for two reasons. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to agree with this dude, but he's saying the truth right here. That's number one. And number two, the second time I rewinded, because I want y'all to listen to this and I want y'all to pretend he's talking about a black woman that's doing the same thing, but reversing it. And she's talking about black men. Because in this statement he's about to say, he's putting down Cynthia G, because he's saying his race of white people would never do no shit like this. But she does the same shit to black men to big up other races. So he put her down too.
Black women, when you guys know how important it is to understand that your women are an extension of you?
Well, absolutely, because the thing is, right, and I apologize for using that term, but the reason why I used it before is what I see when I see people like Kevin Samuels, right, and I see these men who are basically putting these black women up on their streams, and just it reminds me of a symbolic public execution. And I see these guys throwing all of this shade at, quote, black women. It reminds me of those guys that would worship their slave master and they would betray their own women. That's what it reminds me of. And I can't help but have this perception. These women are just trying to find their way in the world. It's like they're putting themselves, you know, through university. They're trying to do all of these things to ascend in life. And then you have these guys that for whatever reason, they think, no, these black women should submit to my masculinity. And as I've pointed out on previous live streams, these men don't have any masculinity to submit to. They're basically just these guys that, if you look at the income difference, you know, if you look at the...
Hold on, he about to go into another point, but I want to handle what Onyx is saying right here because it's so easy to handle what she's saying. So I got a comment on the screen and I'm going to read it. I forgot I can put comments on the screen. Onyx said, real, if you admit that for 8 years, actually been longer than 8 years, black men have been putting down black women, why do you object to Cynthia clapping back with the same level of vitriol? And you pretty much answered your own question. You make the assumption that I don't like it because they have penises, when I don't like it because of the action. Do you understand the differences? You're saying black men did this. I'm saying the action, whether you have a penis or a vagina, the action is wrong. So if she claps back in the same manner by saying white people are so much better, white men are so much better option than black men, and then you got black men that's pointing out all the fucking horrible shit in the world about black women and bigging up other races, it's the same shit. So if she claps back, and John Real, my objection is the ideology, not the gender that does the ideology, of course, I'm going to call her ass out too. I hope that answered the question for you.
Average household income of a black man. I actually personally don't believe in the idea that women should submit to men, but these men believe that that's their role, as that's what women should be doing. They should be.
All right, it's going to be loaded. If you are a black man and you believe that a woman should submit to you, I have no problem with that, because I don't judge people for who they want to date. Just go find you a woman that will submit to you. I don't want a woman to submit to me. That shit is boring as fuck. Because I love peace in my life, it would be great for a little bit. Then I get bored, and then I may go do some shit that's not of my character. The age-old question I ask myself in the black community: do you want the woman they wanted Eddie Murphy to marry at the beginning of Coming to America? Or do you want Lisa McDowell, the opinionated, intelligent woman that has her own ideas, that can offer something to you? Subjectively, that's what I prefer, but I'm not going to judge a man who don't want that. The issue that comes into it is when you try to spread the ideology that every man should want this. And some of your viewpoints on saying this is incorrect. One of your viewpoints on saying this is that way back in the day, marriages worked, and people stay married longer when the woman just did what the man said, and she was submissive to the man. You make the false assumption that women just want to be married for a length of time, and that's not always true. Women want to be married for a length of time and be happy. So in your scenario, when you go back in the day, women just did everything a man said and it lasts for a long time. Look at the nuances that come on in that. When we were little, look at how we thought that grandma and grandpa relationship was perfect. And then when we get older and grandpa dead and grandma still alive, she starts telling y'all these stories when she goddamn chased his ass out the goddamn house with a broom when he came with lipstick on his collar when grandpa was pimping back in the 50s. When we start hearing all of these stories, and not to be one-sided, the exact same thing. When a man is faithful to a woman and she out there dipping and sleeping with Mr. Johnson. That actually happened with my grandma. She cheated on my grandfather and had a baby by another married man. So I'm saying, like, the same shit happened. If people don't just want longevity, they want longevity and to be happy. And you don't have enough information to just know, like, well, it worked that way, so we should do it that way, and that will make you happy. Maybe none of us have the answers. Maybe people should do whatever they feel that they want to do. So you can go out here and want you a submissive woman that should be submissive to you. I have no problem with that. I would encourage you to get that, because if that's what you want, that's what's going to make you happy. But everybody don't need to do what you want to do. Everybody don't think that that's the only way that you can have a successful relationship, because one thing that people never talk about or count out is even during that time, there are successful marriages that last a length of time where a woman was independent, where a woman did have her own career, her own job, or relationships where a woman did do the stuff and the man stayed back at home. There are all kinds of scenarios that are out there. If I'm not correct, I think that she replied to me, real, not you, obviously, but this whole stream was addressing the manosphere, not you. I apologize. I thought you was talking to me because you said my name and you said it in all caps. So that's why I responded to you. Everyone thinks they're special. To your point, it's a choice to show up to his show, but you know how desperate a lot of Black women are for advice about relationships leads to irrationality. I ain't really got nothing to say to that. Yeah. The biggest thing I saw about relationships is when I did have an office job, and it's a sea of cubicles around, and you have another environment that you have created in an office workspace. And at this time, this was during the year Steve Harvey came out with his first book. And I was just surprised at how many women bought the book and was sitting at their cubicle reading it like gospel during every break that they had. I was like, y'all putting this much stock into a comedian? And then you're going to go out here and act on this shit too. He's a fucking a divorced comedian, not to throw a fallacy over him. I'm still going to break down the points that he said in the book, but I'm just like, okay, hold on. I don't know why I can't go to new comments, but hold on. I didn't mean to put that up there. Honest, you are here to only defend Cynthia G, or are you here to hear the man John and his viewpoints? I have said good things about what Cynthia G said on this, and I have said terrible things of what she said on this. You know why? Because she's just a human being. Nobody's going to get everything right. I have said good things about this manosphere, and I have broken down the terrible things about this manosphere. That should be a normal expectation. If you go into any ideology and you love it so much and you think it's always going to be 100%, something is wrong with you. To think a group of people are going to be 100% on everything that they're saying. Something wrong with you.
Be submitting to men. So they're like, oh, these Black women, they need to respect my masculinity. But I look at their economic circumstances, their cultural circumstances, like some of the people that you've roasted on your channel, and I think these men don't have any masculinity to submit to. I don't understand how they can have this ego about themselves and they can pretend like they're all of this, all of that.
Because they are angry inside. This is loaded, man. When something loaded, it's like I can't go one direction. Like even in that one sentence he said, it's so loaded, and I'll show you how it's loaded. You don't have to have economic standards and all this shit he naming to feel that you want a woman to submit to you. You can be a bum on the street and want a woman to submit to you. You should be realistic with your options of how many women you're going to actually get to submit to you, the lower your standards are. But like, that's a fallacy. Like they can think of whatever they want to want a woman to submit to them. At the same time, there are these guys that want women to submit to them due to bad reasons and due to just how low they feel of themselves. There's so many ways to go with this one sentence. And the reason being is because maybe we should stop caring about what somebody else like. If a janitor that makes $20,000 a year want a woman to submit to him, more power to him. Go out there and find you a motherfucking woman that do it. At the same time, if there's a man of high value, when you out there saying men of high value got a lot of options and you should expect them to cheat and do all this dumb shit, maybe there's a man of high value that wants to be monogamous, that want to love his woman. You know, I don't care enough about how to control someone else's happiness to make a YouTube channel telling people who they should date. I just don't give a fuck. If I'm going to tell you one thing, I'm going to tell you to be honest with yourself. Nobody in the room with you, you're by yourself. Now, once you're honest with yourself, what do you like in a woman? What do you like in a man? All right, if that's what you like, fuck being political correct, religion, all this stuff. If that's what you genuinely like in your heart, go out there and do the steps to achieve that. Because that's what's going to make you happiest. No one can make a generic category to tell you what you like. I believe you smarter than that, and I believe your brain is more complex than to be fit into a category that somebody can tell you what you like when they don't know shit about you.
It's like there's this one guy I know who he doesn't have a job. He sits there on YouTube every day begging for begging for super chats from like 100 viewers, and does a whole bunch of cryptocurrency flim-flamming. And he's constantly complaining that black women aren't being submissive enough. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's this idea, sorry, I don't know if my mic cut out then. It's this idea that they should submit to them when there's nothing there to submit to. Like, why would a woman want to quit her university degree or quit her job to go live with one of these guys that sits around basically hating his own women? And that's why I have such harsh terminology for some of these guys, because they are essentially betraying their own women. And I have such low views of some of these.
Yes, so he right on some of the motherfucking statements though. You know, when you say hey, fuck your degree, fuck all that shit you're doing. When we was in the 50s and 60s, it showed that the marriage lasts longer. So get rid of all the shit you was doing to make you happy. Get rid of all the shit that you was working on, and just comment and submit to me. That is a very unrealistic expectation.
These black manosphere dudes that
every fucking thing is loaded. That's the problem with generalizing. Because even when I take up for women for saying that statement, like that, clearly that women like what I just said. Like, yeah, we get all agree. Yay. I can still flip it. That's why the generalizing is wrong. I can still flip it. You know, you go on date with a lot of women who got all of this great shit and great degrees, and they sit down on a date and all they talk about is how I'm independent this, I'm independent that, and you get tired of hearing that shit. It's you generalizing. Everything involves generalizing. The only way to get out of all this generalizing is to fucking do whatever you want to do in life. Go find the kind of person you want and go try to date that person. Take them out and get to know them, not as a woman with a degree, not as a fucking high value man, these categories y'all put on people, but get to know Ernest, get to know Kim, get to know Lakeisha. What I'm saying is get to know the individual, not the categories these YouTubers are telling y'all to stick on people. You can't even have an honest conversation about this without generalizing, and that makes the whole fucking thing bad.
That denigrate people like that. I just want to see them do well. I don't want to see them spitting all of this hatred and committing these symbolic public executions of their own women. I don't like seeing Kevin Samuels get up there and essentially what he does is he advances the narratives of people who genuinely are racist. If you look at people who are like white people who are racist towards black people as a whole, all of the Kevin Samuels talking points fits within that narrative that black women, I
don't like the word all. I don't like the word all. And now I'm rocking with this white dude until he said the word all. I don't think all of Kevin Samuels' ideas are like that. But I think enough of Kevin Samuels' ideas come across, and just like the optics. Remember, we talk about how something looked, the optics, that it comes across to the fact that where it's cringe, because Like, yo, what if a white dude was saying all of this shit specifically only about black women and calling black women to the forefront to degrade them in front of a group of 15,000 fucking white men watching this shit? Like, it's cringe to watch sometimes. To watch that happen is like, I'm not gonna sit up here and front. I don't like the way that fucking looks. Then I took this channel and I showed a specific example on this channel when I broke down a video to where even someone who doesn't fit the category, they still go off and portray this black woman as the preconceived perception that you have of black women in general, and you attack this black woman from that preconceived idea, and it makes it even worse. So like when I talk about optics, like this white man is saying the word all. I don't think it's all, but you do put out enough. And you should care how you come across if you actually care to make the message that you feel inside, whether I agree with you or not, you feel the message can reach and help more black people, then you should care about the optics of how that message is looking on a whole to everyone in order to make your message be more effective.
Hate the things that they think. But what he does is he supports those talking points, those false narratives. And that's the contempt that I have. I look at powerful black men throughout history.
And there's no notion to that when racist white men say the same thing about people or about black women, that you are saying the exact same thing. There's no care. Even if I had a purpose to help, I felt like my words could help black women get in more relationships. Even in that good theme I have, if my optics was coming across that I'm spewing rhetoric that white racist men say about black women, I would care. It would bother me. It would really bother me. But when you don't care, he's like, that's how you women are. Just telling the truth. It speaks a volume.
That stood up for their people and think, man, those men must be turning in their graves at what they're seeing from these weak men, these men that are slaves to their anger. They're slaves to their hurt feelings. There's something seriously wrong with them. And that's my opinion. Sorry, I'll let you go.
Honestly, like there is. And I think that the reason the chat box is going crazy because you're preaching, there is something wrong with them. And I realized there was something wrong with them because when I first came to YouTube, my content for the first 2 years was 100% black male worship. There was no more important matter than black male issues to me. So that's what I was promoting. And I got attacked by black men. And I just paid attention to the way that black men move in these social spaces. And I came to the same opinion, there's something wrong with them. And then I noticed that, while there are issues.
But you letting this white man do more than what you're doing. And you just gave us the bad guy at the end of the movie motive. I came on talking about black men. You weren't talking about black YouTubers. You came on talking about black men in America. So you let a black YouTuber who got a divisive rhetoric change your perception so much to now this white dude is saying that he putting down black men in the manosphere who are speaking on these terms. A black man in the manosphere made you feel a certain way. But unlike this white dude here, you don't attack black men in the manosphere. You attack all black men. You say all of us had bad traits. Do you feel where I'm coming from, Cynthia G? It's the same as a villain in a fucking comic book, man. Catwoman got pushed out the window by a man. She goes and sew up a goddamn black plastic suit and go around killing all men. Yeah, how much shit I've taken on the internet. Had my fucking house posted up, all this negative shit because I took up for black women. I never fucking got mad at black women. You know what I'm saying? How much shit I've been through. I don't let nobody change my viewpoint, my ideology. These black men tell more about themselves. They don't speak for all black men. So what you gonna do now? I'm not in the manosphere, but because I'm a man, you gonna put me down too? That's what y'all did to Gravity Takeout. He not in the black manosphere. He called you a motherfucking queen 1,000,000,000 times, and you threw him right over to these guys. He was taken up and he got attacked from the people that listen to the manosphere. They said, "Don't talk to her that way. You a simp. You simping for her because he showed you respect, but your blindness from how you feel about black men due to a couple of black men in a manosphere turned you to a fucking YouTube comic book villain." I'm not gonna be weak enough to let a couple people change how I feel.
In society, obviously, we know what the foundation of this country is. There are issues that black men are doing that they refuse to address. And rather than address them and be men and compete, they would prefer to attack their women. They would prefer to blame it on welfare or food stamps or the lack of submission or feminism or blue Martians or whatever they could do. They'll just blame it on a woman. And so that's when I turned my content to be like, well, look, this is what's going on. This is what we're dealing with. And if we are going to experience
these guys treating you wrong don't mean gonna make videos to show how white men are better partners than black men. If you, and this is how people put themselves in the trap. So Cynthia G, if you like everything this white man is saying, right? You like everything he's saying. He's saying that these are narcissists, which means that there is a literal mental problem in these group of men. He calling them narcissists. Y'all know how I do on my channel. I assume the enemy is right. I assume the person is right. So let's assume the white dude is right, whether we agree with him or not. If he's right, these black men are narcissists, self-centered. They lack any fucking confidence inside. They don't hold themselves accountable. All these negative things about these particular black men. The first thing of them being narcissists shows a mental issue that they're not like normal black men. There's something mentally wrong with them, according to your white guest. So why would you take something that a mentally ill man is saying and hold that over all black men in the fucking country? I'm assuming your boy is right. Why would you hold that over all black men? Why would if you agree with him and he's saying was mentally wrong with these guys, why would you take what these guys say and let that get in your brain and make you come out here and making negative videos about all black American men?
Any type of change, then we need to understand what we're dealing with. But a lot of even black women, a lot of them, they don't believe me when I tell them other groups of men do not think like this. So don't internalize.
Not only do other black groups of men not think like this, there are black men who do not think like this, such as myself, such as people like Gravity Takeout. There are other black men who don't think like this. But you taking the word of a couple of guys on YouTube and you've asserted that word over an entire group of people, but you feel like they're wrong and you're right.
Internalize it. And so I think, like, with you saying that, being that you are an outsider, you have no vested interest. It's not like, you know, they'll try to say you're simping, but in whatever. I mean, they don't. Totally. You're in New Zealand, so how are you simping for American black from New Zealand?
Oh, it's totally. Who am I simping for? Exactly. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like they always talk about submission, but they won't give us anything to submit to, because it's like, I actually do believe in submission. And I think that there should be, you know, both partners submitting to each other, but ultimately black men being any man, whatever dynamic, but for this one, black men being the head is more important. But they're just not giving us anything to submit to. They won't build, they won't try to compete, they're always complaining, but they're doing nothing about it. And I just, like, for me, it's like, okay, well,
You need one example to prove a viewpoint wrong. When someone generalizes, they make it easy for you. She said that black men don't build and do blah, blah, blah. One of the main core reasons from the beginning of of Kwame Brown coming online to defend himself wasn't because he wanted these guys to not pick on him. They have been picking on him for 20 years. He wanted these guys to leave him alone right now because it was important that his reputation remained good, because he was trying to do something for his community. I cannot remember the exact details. I'm sure Self Talk can put it up. I think he was trying to do either some kind of fundraiser for black boys or some kind of drive. He was trying to build for his community. So at this point, let the jokes ride, to build for his community, which he's still trying to build for his community. Right? You say that black men aren't trying to build, they aren't trying to do anything. One thing I can say to take up for the manosphere, I think the manosphere is bitches for making excuses of why they can't get women. And this is the only category they make excuses for. But when it comes to other categories, they don't make excuses. The manosphere preaches how don't be lazy, go out and earn a living, go out and not use excuses, go out and build your own jobs, build your own business. That's one of the things the manosphere do preaches and stuff. So that goes right along with your ideology. And you say that you want to be submissive to a man. More power to you. More power to the women who don't want to be submissive. But the problem with generalizing is all you need is one example to show that you can't say this about all people. If there are guys out here that exist and there are women who can get these guys and you can't get these guys, again, with my message, I think that you should not make excuses, just like I tell the men not to make excuses. The women don't make fucking excuses either. Look within and see, well, why did she do it and I didn't?
Well, black women need a second opinion. So let's get someone else to come on here so that you can see that there's a problem here. And I don't think that you're wrong for saying there's something wrong with them when this is what they're advertising.
Exactly.
You should be smart enough to figure out all of this stuff without getting a white man to come on and tell you, Cynthia G. I use my own brain and I see the good points that they say in the manosphere and see all the horrible rhetoric they say in the manosphere. I can make up my own decision. I don't need a white man to tell me, Cynthia G.
And I know this is a very harsh point to make. I know that it's harsh to say about them, but there are many black men out there who I have so much respect for. All of my favorite men on, not that sounds like a dumb thing to say, but a lot of my favorite content creators on YouTube are black men. But for every masculine black man out there who's actually built himself a nest egg to submit to, there are these guys that don't have anything to submit to. And for hundreds of years, I feel that they have been a cancer upon their people.
Someone said this at the beginning, that he's going to go back 100 years and put down black people. I would like for him to go into detail about his claim of how he knows like 100 years that black people have hurt themselves. Like, but let me listen to him.
They've been selling out their own women. When men came over to snatch them out of Africa, they said, okay, they sold them, right? For hundreds of years, they sat there and did nothing while they got pushed around and kicked around by more powerful demographics.
All right. Well, this is easy. One of the things I looked at too when I started looking at slavery, because you, as a black American, you're gonna know all about the American slave trade. I looked at slaveries in other cultures. I looked at I can't think of the war or what happened in Nanking with the Japanese and the Chinese. How can a fucking little island come to such a huge country, take that shit over, rape and beat the women and put the men up on sticks outside of the city? I look at the Irish people and how the ghettos of Ireland is one of the things I look at, because they aren't of different color. They all look the same. So when you try to attribute something bad to a black person because they're in the poor ghettos of America and the decisions they make, I can show you that they're the same Irish people who are in the poor ghettos of Ireland make the same decision. So it's not a skin color that's an issue. It's an economic thing that's an issue, and what happens when you put human beings in these environments. So this man is pointing out what people would do when in any culture I've ever looked at, regardless of skin color, you will find people that will sell out their own people. in any culture. It is not a trait of a black person. It is a trait of Homo sapiens, of human beings, for survival. The cowardice. For every Uncle Tom, the comic book film, The 300 was true, except for the guy at the top wasn't some ugly monster humpback person, but he was a real person, and he did sell out the 300, which was able for them to flank them in war, come around and kill all 300 of those men. People always got somebody to sell out. So if this is a trait of Homo sapiens, you have to ask yourself, Cynthia G, why is this white man trying to come on here and portray this as only a trait for black Americans?
And then when actual black men like Malcolm X came along and tried to make a stand for them, they said, "Oh no, don't do that. Don't be uppity." They've been selling out their own. The
majority of people were rocking with Malcolm X. If you look at the percentages, which is why the country was almost burned upside down with riots happening all over the country. So it's like a fallacy or a flaw to take a smaller percentage and to try to portray that in an argument like it was important. You name me a figure that tried to fight for any rights, regardless of their race, regardless of the time period. Pick a time period in history where someone stood up. Pick Guy, who we use the Guy Fawkes mask. Pick anybody. I don't care what race they are. And there's a group of people who wanted to take that person down. But you're going to listen to this shit, Cynthia G, and you're going to let him portray this as this is only a trait that is found in the black American people. Pick anybody. I dare you to pick anybody in history.
People, their own women for a long time. And now they're on the internet selling out their own women once again. And it's not because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that there are some black women out there who maybe do fit the stereotype that they go after, but they're not going after like, you know, annoying, low value women. They're going after women that are doing better than them. Because like I said,
I do agree with some of these points. I'm going to be fair all the fucking way around. Say something I agree with, I'm going to fucking say I agree. Say some weird old shit where you trying to portray that this is a trait that black men do when everybody in the fucking world does this in history. I'm going to call your ass out. I'm going to be fair all the way down. They are. They don't just try to destroy one kind of stereotypical part of black women. These motherfuckers will call anybody on their shit. And if they skin black and dark, they'll try to put them down. Don't even give everybody the same fair shake. I have already pointed this out in an example on a video on this page if you haven't seen it in great detail. So I agree with him when he say that.
These people have a cultural sickness. I'm not talking, this is nothing to do with race. This is to do with a culture that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a kind of sickness that goes on there where they would rather than improving themselves, rather than ascending themselves, they become angry at their plight. They become angry at the fact that they're low value. And the first thing they do is they react to their base instinct, which is just to be angry at somebody. I'm going to be angry at the woman that I can't have. And that's what's going on here. And when I see people like, not just Kevin Samuels, there's dozens of these guys, many of them have well over 100,000 subscribers, is what they're doing is they're providing rage fuel for these men. They're providing a kind of fuel.
I fucking definitely agree with him here. That's why I said, and I'm going to tell y'all right now, I think the greatest injustice is the comedian Ryan Davis putting a video on his Patreon that should be public for the world to see, as he has one of the most greatest videos breaking this down about how he's not upset at the YouTuber. He's upset at the bitch ass guys who can't get women, who know that that's the reason that they're only going to follow this YouTuber because of the lack of confidence they have in themselves due to previously being dissed, or how they feel about themselves that they can't get a woman. So they want a man to be successful at destroying women to lower women's self-esteem enough to give these bitch ass niggas a chance. The greatest video ever. I'm in Ryan Davis, the comedian Patreon. I keep posting comments, bro. You owe it to the black community to not make this fucking video private. You owe it to put this video out here. And that's what I see with the divisive rhetoric. A YouTuber may just say, I'm just saying some bullshit to get paid. I don't believe this shit I'm saying. But if enough of these lonely, bitch ass, dumb ass dudes gonna listen to this shit, I'm gonna put this out here and I'm gonna fuel their hatred to give me money every fucking night. And I get that check on the 21st. I agree with the white dude here.
That keeps them in that state of bondage. So they can come on here and say that they're all alpha males with their deep voices and tattoos or whatever, but they are still in their heart of heart a slave. They're still submissive. They're still, because they've never learned to master their emotions. And they're
I have no proof, but in my opinion, I think that he's strategically sliding in the word slave. There's a billion other things he can say, but when you a white man and you come on a black person platform and the first thing you do is say that black people are buck dancing and you call black people house Negroes, to me, just in my opinion, I think he purposely using the word slave. And I don't think Cynthia G caught that. He keeps saying the word slave over and over and over again.
they're total sellouts. They're total turncoats. That's what they are. And that's what I think of them. And it's very sad for me to constantly see this and for them not to recognize, not to have none of them have any critical thinking skills. None of them have any ability to introspect and think, rather than attacking the woman that I can't have, or the woman who is, I don't know, who has a certain type of hair or something that I don't like. Why not actually build something for myself in life? Why not actually build something to be proud of? But no, they submit because they're weak and they're spineless and they have no masculinity. They submit to whatever emotion they're feeling at the time, which is usually resentment. That's the way I look at it.
Well, listen, because
I agree with you, Crystal. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not used to using this program. If I would post most of y'all comments up here. I hate this program. I'm only doing it because I'm going to let y'all come on and panel and speak.
Because at the end of the day, I honestly like.
Matter of fact, let me go ahead and send out the link now. So anybody want to come up can come up. Let me send out the invite link. Copy. If y'all want to come up, you can come up.
I'll tell you, like I told Brian, the last guy that called in, like 2 years ago, this would have been it almost would not have happened.
It took you 2 years to allow a white man to come on your platform and say how black people buck dance, call them slaves. Took you only 2 years to transform and then letting the white man call black people house Negroes and start attributing things specifically only to black Americans that actually go for all Homo sapiens in the same exact situation that history has shown for a fact that these are the actions that humans do in these situations. It only took you 2 years to sell out like that, Cynthia G. That's all. Everything you had in your whole life. It only took you 2 years.
No way I would have sat there and listened to that. But the thing of it is in all seriousness, the bottom line of it is that this is what black men are choosing to promote. So they will come on here and they will, like they're doing right now, they're saying, well, black women are engaging in this slander campaign against us. But at the end of the day, you're directly watching what black men are advertising for themselves.
So Cynthia G, this is what I agree. I agree that there's a better tactic than doing the exact same thing, but being of the opposite gender. I think there are better representations, such as having more YouTubers like myself come on who don't like that divisive bullshit that some of these guys are doing. You want to encourage more people like that to come on. The problem is you hate black people so much, black men so much, you become blinded. When one black YouTuber who is different, who is more like me by the name of Gravity Takeout, you guys tried to destroy this dude. You're supposed to build up examples like that where they aren't going off those same principles. But you're so blinded that it's like no black man can be no different except for how these guys are. So you destroy all black men. That's the issue. If you don't like a representation, put out a different representation. I don't like this shit, so I come out here and I make it a point to be different. I make it a point to do that, to show that there are other options, so that there are other ways. To me, that's far more effective than the divisive rhetoric you do by having fucking shows and videos to show how white men are great at this and black men aren't. You turn yourself into a Frankenstein of your own creation. And it's all built through hatred, the same kind of hatred this white man is saying that allowed these black men to start doing this shit.
Watching that, you're listening to their content, you're seeing how they move in these spaces, and they don't understand that. They don't understand that they're doing this. You're the one who are making people see you as misogynistic. They're the ones who are making people see them as predators. It's just is what it is, because they're choosing to promote that. But another person actually asked a question that related to that. This person actually said, what did the person said, how do you compare the black men that you've dealt with within this space to the black men that you know personally or who are in your country? Like, are they the same? Are they different? If so, how?
No, they're totally different. The black men that I've met, they've never heard of Kevin Samuels. They would never sell out their own women. They're not misogynist. All of the black men that I've met locally here in Australia that I've done live streams with, none of them say that. They might laugh at a certain stereotype about black culture, but and then you maybe throw in black women into that. They worship hip hop or some general type of stereotype. This is not my opinion. This is just me parroting.
Oh, what's the point of him saying all of this shit? Or the black men are like a totally different, except for sometimes they put down black men for the stereotypes. Does she say anything to him saying this, or she just let it rock? Let me see.
Some of the things that I've heard them say, they might poke at black culture and not differentiate between black men and women, but no, the men that I've met that are either African American or just black in general, none of them have any sympathy for these guys in the black manosphere. They seem to be, but look, I mean, you think of how many people there are in just America.
Yo, listen to what he said, bro. I gotta run this back, bro.
They're totally different.
He said they're totally different. His words, not mine. They're totally different.
Black men that I've met, they've never heard of Kevin Samuels. They would never sell out their own women. They're not misogynist. All of the black men that I've met locally here in Australia that I've done live streams with, none of them say that. They might laugh at a certain stereotype about black culture, but and then you maybe throw in black women into that. They worship hip hop or some general type of stereotype. This is not my opinion. This is just me parroting some of the things that I've heard them say. They might poke at black culture and not differentiate between black men and women, but
all of these are major issues. But
no, the men that I've met that are either African American or just black in general, none of them have any sympathy for these guys in the black manosphere. They seem to be, but look.
Let me bring some people on, man. What's going on for Green? I don't want to say the whole thing because I don't know what you got on here as your name. You're muted.
Hey, what's up with you?
What's going
What's
on,
up
man?
with you, bro?
What's going on?
Man, I'm just chilling, man. This is my first time listening to you, man. I'm in Germany.
Oh, what's going on in Germany, man?
Oh, man, it's lovely out here, bro. It's lovely. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's lovely.
That's what's
I
up.
actually had a, yeah. Man, I've been listening to you, man. I was subscribed to Cynthia G before, man, and I had to go ahead and cut her off, man. I had to unsubscribe because the spirit in which she was saying all of these things, it was just so hateful and bitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was just amazed at the amount of bitterness that she had. Even like the tone that you have is you're objective, and you know what I'm saying? You look at things logically, and you don't sit there and repeat yourself continuously like she does. She's been doing the same talking points for like 6 months. I just stopped watching her videos. Some of the things I can agree with what she's saying, but
Yeah.
she's starting a gender war. She's flaming rage. And a lot of this is white rage because the tables are starting to turn, I believe, in America. The wealth is starting to be distributed a little bit more evenly, and black people are being afforded more opportunities now because, man, all of this goes back to what he was talking about, men not having economics and not having money financially and still wanting women to submit to them. And you had said, even if you was a bum on the street, you know what I'm saying, you would still, you expect a certain level of, you know what I'm saying, of respect from your woman. I get that. It's not just all about money. But basically, what I think that all of this goes back to some type of, he said, cultural thing. The Black American man is a different species from almost any other culture on the earth. You can't find anything like them anywhere. Nobody's been through the amount of things that the blacks in America have been through, you know, and the culture has been affected by that. What they need to do is they need to analyze what they did to actually cause it and to do something about it. And I'm literally a fan of wealth distribution, but also I'm also a fan of us, you know what I'm saying, resegregating a little bit and building our community up. Because this is just like the children of Israel whenever they were in Egypt, so-called in the Bible, where the numbers got too many and they started to gain power and access, and then the people started to hate them and despise them. So the plot to destroy the family, the black family, was to emasculate the man, take away all of his resources, take away his ability to care for a family. It was illegal for black people to marry. You know what I'm saying? For 300 years, it was illegal for them to learn how to read. It was a crime punishable by death for a slave to be caught reading. Okay, so you can't vote, you can't own land. You know what I'm saying? You can't marry. You know what I'm saying? And whenever you do have a family, they might sell your wife off to some other form, and they just use black men as workers and studs. You know what I'm saying? Just like I put the analogy in there of whenever the term MF comes from the fact that whenever the importation of slaves became illegal, they started having turning men into studs and breeding us like animals that have the biggest motherfucking man go in there and he'll just have sex with anything. They'll put him in a dark room, put a bag over his head and have him have sex with his mother. That's where the term MF comes from. So you have a people that were supposedly freed like less than 200 years ago or whatever, less than 200 years ago. And where do you go if you can't own land? How are you free? Mm-hmm. As a man, you're supposed to be able to provide for a family and resources for your family. Yeah. The black man had to be constantly emasculated in front of the black woman, yet the black woman still stayed. Yeah. I can say with certain truth that, let me just make this one point. The black man is the epitome of what a real human is, because they had to be humble and meek, and they could not show their ego, and they had to have their power under control at all times, man. I just wanted to say that, man. I love your show, man. I'm just gonna keep on watching from the background. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Don't leave now, because I want to ask you something or one question. But I want to say this first before I ask you this question. There was a person by the name of Smurf who was here before all of y'all. So I know Smurf is like, why he let everybody on except for me? Smurf, I just wanted to hear and make sure that you were real. Smarkitect, I've always commented on my stuff. Anonymous Wish has always commented. Queen is my mod. So these were the people that I knew were legit. So since your camera was off, I just wanted him to stop so I can make sure you was legit, and I was going to bring you on. So I didn't want you to feel like I slighted you. So if you want to come on, I still give you that opportunity, because I know you was here before all of them was here. And I did see you. It's just like, I don't know who Smurf is. Let me make sure. But I want to say to you, Green, like the most important thing to me is the youth. when you look at the manosphere, when you look at Cynthia G, when you look at all of these people, it just, even myself included, it seems that it's coming around older, late 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds. As a young person, how does it feel to sit back and look and see that this is coming from the older community, and also the older community is looking at people our age? Is it true what the older community is thinking on how the younger community really is thinking and reacting?
See, I'd like to go back to what the Australian guy was saying. Oh, I just feel like all this about the black man and all this. Really, what he was talking about is basically, once you leave the black people destitute with no resources or any way to eat, they will pretty much do anything to survive. So yeah, there's going to be people that will sell out their people so they can eat. That's like a means to an end to them. And this is exactly what's for all races. But this is exactly what Cynthia G is doing, though. She's working as a weapon in the hands of these people that are trying to divide us, because she's telling black women to go out there and have sex with white men, Chinese men, find somebody else besides a black man, don't deal with them, pass them up. What do you think that's going to do to our numbers? That's going to take away our power. See, that's why it's so offensive to me whenever she says that, because she's just chasing clout. She's selling our people out. She's selling the soul. She's selling the youth. She's selling us away for money and clout. It's terrible. Like I couldn't listen to her anymore. It just broke my heart. And then I go on Instagram and I see the objectification of our women and stuff like that. And I see that it's not celebrated when black people are, you know what I'm saying, doing these amazing things. But as soon as somebody does something bad, it's like the media has some type of agenda on the image of black people. Like they want to make it as if black people are the problem with America in general.
Yeah.
Like seriously, sometimes I feel like they wish they could evict us, but we didn't ask to go over there. And he said that it's a cultural thing. Yes, it's a cultural thing, and I don't respect your opinion because you haven't experienced those. So how can you cast judgment on somebody whenever you're really not even in the America? You weren't even born in America. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at rap videos and stuff, and you're looking at media and stuff. That's what you're looking at. And you're judging all of us based off media. You're not seeing the average everyday freaking black man. You're not, that goes to work every day and treats women with respect and loves women. You're not seeing that. You're seeing the extremes because that's what sells on media. People want to see dumb shit that doesn't normally happen in life. And it's the extremes. That's why people flock to it. But I feel like she's selling the younger generation out. But this type of stuff is gonna keep going on. But I really think that we'll still persevere through it all, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Because they tried to keep us down before. Now I feel like the power structure is changing so vastly right now that you're gonna get a lot more of these white rage people that feel like this on the inside, and they can't outwardly show their aggression towards us anymore. So they do it in microaggressions, and they do it economically. With money.
Green, do you and y'all, Smarkitect, Queen, Anonymous, this is an open conversation. Y'all don't have to be muted. We all can talk.
Hey, what's up, Smarkitect? What's up, Queen?
Well, let me ask him right quick. What were some of the first videos you saw and like topics that had you when you was first a subscriber? What were some of the topics that really caught on to you?
Oh man, the thing that really caught on to me was that she used these bland generalizations. And she used absolute statements like none of them, all of them, most of them.
I hate the word.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You don't know all black men to cast a judgment on all these people. You can't say that. And then it was just, I watched her for about 6 months, but it was repeatedly the same thing over and over again. It was black men don't have any power, therefore they don't deserve respect from black women. And she was basically saying that because if black men don't have money, that you shouldn't submit to them, and that you shouldn't respect them. No other community is like that. A Chinese woman can go home to her man and he not be rich, but she would still respect her man. You know what I'm saying? And this lady just repeatedly kept telling black women that black men ain't shit, and she kept down. And then it got to the point to where there was other people, like there was Hispanics and like non-FBA black people, like Africans and stuff from other countries and stuff like that. They was there and they was putting in their 2 cents, and they was all talking bad about all black men too. And so I was like, man, and then it wasn't from a helpful standpoint. I don't believe that her opinion was trying to be helpful. I think that it was just throwing fuel on fire. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that really caught me whenever I stopped listening to her was whenever she started telling all of the black women not to be with black men at all, not to even consider it. You know what I'm saying?
What do you think of her fan base? Like, what do you think of them? What are they like, her followers?
What are her followers like? They've all, like, most of them, some of them are people that are not even black outside the community that come in and fetishize on black men, and they deal with them and have sex with them, but the black men end up treating them badly. Or it's black women that are upset with black men because they chose to be in these relationships with bad men, and they're a little bit bitter. But most of the people are on the most of the people that I see in the comments and stuff are on the extreme, but I know there's people that are listening that are more level. You know what I'm saying? I was thinking about like going back and just subscribing to her again, just because, you know, I don't want to be that type of person that's like, you made me mad, so I'm not gonna listen to you. That's petty. You know what I'm saying? But I listened to her opinion. I gave her a chance. You know what I'm saying? I gave her a chance.
What solutions does she purport to be offering on her platform? Because I tried to watch a few of her videos at one point, and it's very clear when people are emotional hustlers or psychic vampires in this YouTube space, because like you said, they'll use a bunch of very general arguments and they'll do this. And it's clear that like whoever is listening to them is really in their feelings about a very particular thing that they're going through.
Yeah.
So when you are able to rhetorically appeal to people who are really hurt, and you're really hurt, but instead of actually going into the details of your hurt, which could actually be useful to people, you're just selling a feeling, which is hate.
Do you think? Do y'all think people?
That's what I felt.
Y'all think people can pimp pain?
I think.
Like
pimping is real. I think psychic vampirism is very real, and I think
kind of like pimping on pain.
Who've experienced the kind of trauma we've experienced disproportionately are especially subject to it, because I know for a fact, like when I talk to my homegirls who have been through it, it doesn't matter how good a man that they might meet or come across, you know, is, they'll still just be like, well, I just need to know when he ain't gonna be shit, you know. And it's just like, well, hold on, you know. And I understand, like, you know, when you've experienced that, it's real. But see, when the guy who's the fantasy comes along, right, and his motive might be to get some money from you, his motive might be just to get the nookie, right, the cookie, she's blindsided, and then she's hurt again. And then guess what? The only person that really understands her is Cynthia G. And let me give her a little money because she's the only person that gets it. Because when you're in your feelings, again, you're not looking at the specificity of arguments. You're not doing what you're doing, John, you know, which is, and the people in the awesome people in your chat, which is like, really, okay, what is this about? What is this really about?
Let me ask y'all, because I've preached and I said over and over again, I admit it, like, it's to the point I honestly can't tell if someone really believes in their bullshit or if they just waiting for the 21st of each month to get that YouTube check. What do y'all think?
Check.
I think her soul. She sold her soul.
So you don't think they believe nothing they're saying?
I want to jump in right there real quick, bro. What's up to the panel? Peace and blessings, everybody. Look at the lovely chat.
It's nice to meet you, Queen.
What's happening?
Likewise, I am a black woman, just in case you didn't know. Hi. But it's a lot of trauma bonding with these rhetorical, broad brushstroke statements. I'm old, y'all, so I'm gonna let the young folk talk, but I'm just throw this in. There's a generational curse that we pass down to our children, that we don't properly vet the people we let into our life, whether it's romantic relationship, whether it's friendship, business-ship, it doesn't matter. And I've said this on my channel many times. I'm tired, y'all. I just got tired of talking. But, you know, we have to understand, first of all, it's an individual choice who we decide to partner up with. Second of all, you must give yourself time to heal before you move on to the next partner or relationship. And then people don't know how to properly date or court one another, as the old folks used to say, call it courting. When I was, but it's dating now, and now it's situationships, because nobody really knows what they want. And then they have this idealistic view of what a woman / man should be, right? And we don't sit down and think about, who am I? What do I want out of this? Because that's what a relationship is. The root word is relay. It's a reciprocity.
That's right.
No one is going to be a robot. And then if you really want to take it back, we were also out in the fields getting our ass beat too, right next to the, excuse me, John, I'm sorry.
No, you cuss on here.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
next
about
to
that.
we got it out with y'all. And that's where a lot of Black women, these new millennials and these young folks and these old bitter bitches, I'm sorry, but it's true.
It's true.
That bring it, because I was hazed as a young girl growing up. I had what they call light skin syndrome. I was brutally bullied by elder women in my family because I was different. I was against the grain, but yet I was still a little bit old school. And my grandmother and mother taught me what a woman is supposed to be, not what she should be, not the ideal. The woman is the piece, the glue that holds the family, the matriarch. You cannot be a progressive thinker if you're still holding on to what he did to me before in the rearview mirror and taking it out on the new face you see before you. These young folks and some old don't give each other time to heal. And then you get on these social media outlets looking to validate your feelings.
Exactly.
You can't pick a partner based on how you feel alone. These are conversations you should be having when you're dating.
These are in-house. These are in-house matters.
I don't want to be broke. Can you work? What skills do you have? A person, male or female, black, white, purple, polka dotted, if they don't have a skill, y'all not gonna have a future. Okay?
Right.
Put it that way, because love don't feed you.
Exactly.
So what percentage of Black women do you think actually do still have those traditional thoughts? And what percentage of Black men in America do you think still have those traditional values and thoughts that you're talking about?
Why? Many of them do. Many.
I think Black people are mostly conservative. I think Black people are mostly conservative, really, because we have a tradition of being raised in the church and swing low, sweet chariot and all this stuff. And the Lord is really, Black people love religion. All right, I'm just going to say that. But the thing I don't get is why she had to add the racial component in there by bringing that white guy on there. That's what kind of just threw me off.
But I want to rewind.
Because you putting family business out in the streets.
That's the prosperity pimping part. She's no different than a pastor in a pulpit. And people have to understand that you have to compartmentalize certain things that certain people say.
And we
you
really
have to
need
get
to
to know
focus
that
on
person
words
and their
we
style
use.
of comprehension. She's clearly hurt. Okay, now she got a baby daddy, and she preached, illegitimate cheering and babies out of wedlock and all this stuff. Now she got.
Are you subscribed?
You know what I'm saying?
Are you subscribed? Are you subscribed?
No, I can't take it. I get hot.
We really need to talk about that word traditional, because everything that Queen was just describing was about how it's in fact tradition that kind of fucks us up. So why do we think that when things are better, they're quote unquote, we need to go back to the traditions or the traditional? That word agonizes me, because in fact, the way that I think and the way that I select partners and my decision not to have children running around here, and my decision to do all those things, and my decision to actually choose better men than my mom or my aunties or my grandma, who's my grandfather left our family, started his own families, plural. Those are things I don't do precisely because I reject the so-called traditional. So we really need to ask ourselves, like, when we talk about like behaving right or choosing well or being wise, I really think we should eliminate periodization from those kinds of terms, because you can be old or young and have wisdom.
Totally.
It doesn't matter what time period you're living in, you can have wisdom.
And it's a matter about taking your pain and taking the lesson out of it. I'm sorry to interrupt you, young sister.
No, I
don't
mind at all.
Got
we got 5 people going on here.
But
I just want to stress that, because I feel like whenever we bring up that word tradition, it starts to move us into some kind of place of nostalgia, like somehow back in the past it was so much greater and better. It wasn't.
It really wasn't.
It wasn't. And
our families were more intact,
though. We're all fucked up because they were fucked
up. Yeah, but black families were more intact during the periods of after the periods of Reconstruction and on up until like the 1950s.
Right after him.
The dysfunction was still passed down, even though the families were intact. Because I come from an intact family. My parents were married over 50.
Mine were married over 20
married over 80.
Wait.
Right? But we still have dysfunction that we carry with us from how we were raised from those traditions. And they say, you know what? I was raised this way. Nothing wrong with it.
That was dysfunction. That was a symptom. That was a symptom of the oppression and the discrimination that they had to live under. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
Okay, let me give you an anecdote, Forrester. My grandfather, who rest in peace, he was born in a sharecropping family. Okay, him and my grandma were together for over 50 years. He had multiple families. They stayed married. Okay, my father was a veteran. My mom was a housewife for over 20 years. So I grew up in that household that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Where they were old school. These men had trades. They knew, they knew things. They weren't just.
They took care of their families. They had trades. Care of
their families. But what you have to also understand is what that demanded from my mother. The way he abused her, not necessarily physically, but verbally, to the point to where it got so.
You don't want to even get married.
Well, no.
You don't.
No, let me be very clear. For me, marriage is an economic institution completely. I am not interested in the trappings of love and romance and all that. I'm 37 years old. So for me, at this point in my life, like,
have you ever been romantic?
It's taxes. It's taxes.
I've been through the fantasy. For me,
marriage is taxes.
It's about finding somebody who is intellectual and financial equal, who will build with me, who can help, whoever is going to help me become a better me, and whoever I can help become a better them. That's what I'm looking for, right?
Can I say one thing though?
Cynthia G is not moving us toward any conversation like that. But go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I apologize. Can I say one thing? No, it would be. I feel like it would be such a shame for an intelligent sister like you not to reproduce. We need more people that think like you.
Want no honey, I'm not interested.
Come on, that's a shame. That's a damn shame.
I would rather be the auntie.
Let me say this as a married man.
I'm open to being with somebody with children, because I know that I'm a very good, a solid provider. I'm stable and emotionally, financially, and all of that stuff. But the issue for me, coming back to, the systemic issues that we're talking about, so I'm not trying to deviate too much, John, from, why you have us all on here, is just we need to watch our words, and we need to watch the people who are not really trying to move us toward a productive place where we can really deal with these gender issues in our community. That's my bottom line, is that we have mad gender issues because Black men feel misunderstood, Black women feel misunderstood. Everybody's got a personal experience driving that hurt, that pain, that misunderstanding. So how do we reframe? And John, this is the question as much for you as the host as everybody else. How do we reframe conversations about gender in the Black community so that we can really, and Forrester, I got to shout out to you because you really gave us the context we needed to really actually deal with this conversation. Mm-hmm. How do we frame this conversation? How do we deal with this in a way that we don't end up just walking away and giving our money to the Cynthia G's and the Kevin Samuels?
Just like what we're doing right now. We're going
to have to change our image in the media. We're going to have to change our image in the media. We're going to have to change our image.
I think it starts.
It's like nobody respects us.
It's not about.
Hold on, y'all. One at a time, so people can hear y'all.
I'm gonna mute myself and give y'all an opportunity.
It's not about the media. It's about sitting down, dropping the ego between both sides of the coin. A lot of people have pride and ego. They don't want to admit they're hurt. They feel dejected, rejected. They don't feel good enough, lame, no game, however you want to put it. We need to drop our ego, because a lot of our people, Black, white, purple, green, orange, have ego issues. They're too pride to admit that they're wrong and they don't know, because we don't want to feel like we're incompetent, right? So it's like, I don't know what women like. Okay. If I'm a man and I'm looking at a woman, I don't know what to sit down and talk to her. Stop trying to be something you're not. That goes for both men and women. If you really want to connect with somebody, stop trying to be what you see on the media. That's how we got in this predicament. Is trying to stand next to a white woman who feels oppressed by her man, and that his man is our oppressor. Then we got black women standing next to the white man talking about we oppressed. Okay, ain't nothing changed.
I'm very careful about the way I've talked to white men I've dated about how
everybody feel like they're oppressed.
They'll try.
You have to have a conversation, and then if you stop focusing on what had happened to you, right, and start trying to fix you, and really be honest about what you want in a partner. Like I said, these idealistic traditions that don't work a lot of times in the modern world, we have to evolve. Okay. And I'm a little bit old school and I'm a little bit gangster too. And that works fine for me, but that might not work fine for the next young lady coming up behind me. So I have to reach back. It's called Sankofa, and teach.
That's right.
I have to be the example of the woman that I want to see my legacies grow up to be, or better. I want them to be better than me, way better than me, because I know I made some stupid mistakes, okay? But that's just it. We have to learn from our past. Otherwise, we're going to keep repeating it. And if you keep thinking that you're going to find a woman like your grandmama,
right,
at home all day and cook, clean, sewed, and did needlepoint, you sadly mistaken. Okay.
Or you might.
I can
bake a red velvet cake.
But I want my own Monty, and I want to know that if my man get hurt, sick, or somebody trying to take him from me, I can still take care of our temple. Okay, because it's really sad. My mother, I love her to death. We don't have a really good connection, but just for an example, real quick, I'll be quiet after this. My mother is used because my dad controlled the finances. He controlled all that business side of the marriage. And you don't know where nothing is. Okay. And now we're in the 80s, and now they're scrambling in their golden years trying to figure out how to set things up just in case my dad kicked the bucket soon.
No, you so right. You know, both of my parents died.
So that traditional stuff is really,
and that's what happens. And where's what happened with the stuff?
You know, my aunt too. You know, I love them to death. They were the pillars of my family. But a lot of that traditional womanhood roles and all that, it really screws up the family going forward.
So this is weird. This is weird. So if we shouldn't do anything traditional, so what do you propose that we do then? Because what's going to end up happening is women just going to end up marrying women and stuff like that.
Pause right there. Because right now you're twisting the narrative. That's not what I said.
My word, let me be clear. And Queen, this might address it too.
Okay.
My critique of the word traditional earlier was not what was precisely because I say when we say that word traditional, define it, right? If we start to define that term, it'll fall apart. That's what I was trying to say, is we often will say that word traditional, but your understanding of that word, my understanding of that word, newcomer to the chat who probably wants to talk, has a perception of that word that it takes a while to tease out. Well, because like for some people, traditional is, again, like what Queen was talking about, like supporting her partner and being financially equipped to support her partner. For another man, that might not be traditional. That might be her being having a little too much power. You get what I'm saying? So that word traditional, we don't always agree on the meaning of that word. And I just wanted to caution us from using it as a way to say we've got solutions, because we don't.
Exactly. We need
and
to
that was why I put pressure on that word.
Hey, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys.
People are dropping out. I hope we're not overtalking too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna add somebody on. Hey, what's going on, Smurf?
What up, though? This Daniel, bro. Smurf is my nickname.
Okay, gotcha. I wanted to address just a couple of things on here, and I'm sorry, and because I know Lady Blue hadn't even really got to say anything. The number one thing is listening. So when I think that was when Anonymous Wish says that she, as an individual, don't want to have children, let her rock. There's hundreds of millions of Black Americans. There's a lot of great Black American women that can go out here and have children. If she don't want to do it, she don't have to do it. You know, we gotta stop trying to police people into wanting to do what we feel is right when they should do whatever they feel is right. You understand? When y'all say, and some of y'all are muted. I don't know if y'all are muted.
Yeah, I had muted just because I'm trying to make sure I'm listening and not talking over, because we've got a lot of people.
Okay, no problem.
I've never done this before, but also, by the way, so this is like a little awkward, but it works.
I'm muted. I want these young folks to blaze it up. I want to hear from the men. I want the brothers come up and talk.
So I agree when y'all say what you need to do to change it. Like, you got to drop your ego, and I think dropping your ego is a major part. Well, we got a lot of people coming on here now. Who I'm gonna let on. Hold on, I see you, Smart Tech, and did Smurf drop off? You drop. Let me add Smurf back.
And I'm gonna get out of here.
My bad. I'm back, bro. I'm back.
Give other people a chance to talk.
No, you're fine, Anonymous. Wish if you want to leave or stay. I feel that, especially with hip hop, that is a great tool to show that we change whatever narrative. We've always been a minority, and everybody copied our style. Everybody did everything. So if you change the climate to show there is nothing wrong with seeking with being a leader, because a lot of these people that follow this shit, they're fucking followers, and they don't have the confidence in themselves to be a leader. If you preach and you bring that to the forefront to be a leader, if you bring being it to a leader to say it's okay if I don't know something, if you bring to the leader logic and the fact that if you listen to someone and they preach a rhetoric all the time, there's sometimes that they're going to be wrong, and it is okay to call them and say that you're wrong on this and you're right on this. It's okay to look at the details. Then you'll get better examples instead of everybody running around trying to find somebody who they agree with on a couple of topics and just follow them like mindless zombies. I try to teach people over here, like, I don't want no followers over here. I want a bunch of leaders around me. We all even, we all leaders. And I think if you bring that narrative to the forefront, then you can see some changes in the community.
Bro, I wanted to talk on a couple of things that you talked about earlier, where they was talking about like a value demand or whatever system it's like a lot of titles that they put on the things, but I try to get away from all of that. But back when I was younger, I'm only 30, 31, but when I was in middle school, high school, and I was like trying to talk to a certain type of women, like the smart ones or whatever, I was like a class clown. So they didn't really like me or look at me like, oh, he can do something or he's special or anything like that. But my whole life, I felt like I was like kind of special or whatever. You feel me? So it took me a long time, like through my life, to actually find out what I wanted to do. My heart was broken, or it wasn't broken. I actually did somewhere, a relationship failed, and it hurt me to the point where I was down for a few years, you feel me? But in the midst of me finding myself, I met this young woman, and she was on the same tip that I was on. She was an artist or whatever. I was going to a new state to find myself. She was going somewhere to find herself. We met in the middle somewhere. But at that point, I felt like I was ready to become a man and to start to do something. You feel me? So my profession is I do tattoos. I was finding myself back then. I wasn't really making like that much money or whatever. But when it started to flow in and I was starting to be known or whatever, I started making like the same salary as a surgeon. You feel what I'm saying? Per hour type thing. Not only that, I had to find another way to build that. So I started to build a business on top of that. You feel what I'm saying? Which is still taking time, and I'm still in the process. In the process of me doing this, I'm trying to build like certain brothers around me that's really focused, that want to do this. I'm trying to build them along with me so we can all do it for our children. You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm sitting here listening to this conversation and I'm like, I wasn't valued back in the days. I didn't even value myself. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not even mad at the women who didn't want to mess with me because they seen the clown. But when I became a serious person and things started getting better, then they started to look at me different. But by that time, I'm already like, I'm married now. I found the right one to build with. But it seemed like I look at everything that I learned through this journey, and it's like that white dude killed me when he said the house nigga thing. I almost didn't even want to watch the live no more because I'm like, I see that he still had points that he was making too, but a lot of the stuff that he talked about, he don't know. Just like bro was saying. Bro, earlier that started it off, he touched nearly every point. And then I was listening to what Miss Queen was saying. Miss Queen, she was hitting also. And I'm sitting there thinking like, you really talking, and I wanted to say blessings and thanks for sharing your platform to let people talk or whatever before I started to talk. But I'm sitting here thinking like, you really having church, bro, between like a congregation is listening to the things that you're saying and you really making sense. So it'd be hard for me to see why people go against some of the things that you say. Like, you break it down word by word, like get your opinion and you be fair. So it's like, it baffled me when people be like against some of the stuff you say. It's like crazy, bro. That's all I really want to say.
I try to show people that, like, we all humans, we gonna make mistakes and we may say something good. So I try to take somebody I don't like and show a good point they made, and then break down the bad points of why I don't like them as well too. So I'm trying to teach you to be normal. That's normal. That's nothing extravagant or great. That's just, you should look at all human beings that way. But it's easier. It's just easier for the brain. I like this person. Since I like this person, I'm gonna like everything they say. They're infallible and they can never do no wrong. So I'm just gonna follow them. A lot of people are just mentally lazy, and it's easier. So they'll just take
that laziness is what kills us, bro. We real lazy, but that's because we blame our oppressors or whatever, but it's really on us at the end of the day. All we got to do is get up and do what we need to do, because it's actually easy. It may take time, but people are impatient. And me doing tattoos taught me patience. You feel me? Like, I have to be very patient in order to be precise with things. So it's like, when you learn that and you think about things away, if anybody can learn patience, they can learn how to draw. But people always be like, I don't know how to draw. You already eliminate yourself from what you know how to do because you already limited yourself. No, just get up and do something, bro. And I swear it works.
Absolutely.
I want to hear from
what I said about traditions. You know, it's nothing wrong with healthy traditions that work. Okay, let me be clear. But the traditional things that don't work, that we see, we're passing down generation after generation, like the indoctrination.
Feel you on that too. I'm not with the traditional stuff.
And the white mind state of this construct we call America. You know, you have to be able to
I want to.
Somebody.
I was
My
about
family
to say,
coming up different.
No, I wanted to say I wanted to hear from Lady Blue because I haven't heard from her. But before I say that, I just want to show how it's best to work with people than work against people. So a lot of people may not know Smurf up here, Daniel. He contacted me a couple weeks ago, and he said that, you know, he wanted to be an illustrator for a comic book. He didn't know that I had written graphic novels before, so I gave Daniel one of mine, and you know what I'm saying? We've been working together.
And I'm still working on it right now, bro. I've been working on it this whole live, but I had to get in and talk because there's so many points that y'all hitting on, bro. Like, mine's is gonna be a cartoon. You gonna write you said you was gonna write the script for me or whatever, and I was gonna just do the illustration for both of us. So yeah, we working, and I appreciate you for that, bro.
Anytime he got an idea, I'll write for his idea. He's an illustrator. I gave him my idea. He's gonna illustrate for that. You come together. And you know, it's just so much easier than all the hate. Because one thing I say about manosphere, Cynthia G, everything around, it just seems so dark, negative, hatred in that group. Yeah, people to do some really horrific things. But I don't want to overtalk because I got other people waiting to come on. So I want to hear from Lady Blue and try to bring some other people on.
Okay, I'll come back and finish my point because there's background noise. So I'll be back.
Okay, you sure?
I'm gonna leave, team. Thank you and blessings to all y'all. Love y'all and stay blessed.
Anytime.
I also have to leave soon, but I was gonna say if there's any other questions that would be
what's going on?
that I can answer, that'd be great. And I just want to echo what you're saying about networking because networking is the truth. I mean, if you see that people are
wait, somebody got this. Oh,
I think
I hear two.
I can hardly hear you because everybody's talking.
We can hear you now. I can hear you.
No, first of all, I just want to thank you. The work that you did with the whole justification, that was pretty honorable that you took up a cause. Just want to give you your flowers. I know you get your flowers from everybody else, but I just want to give you your flowers on that.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. Really, thank you. Appreciate that. Because I actually, last night when I said I'm going to do this, I knew I was going to point out bad qualities in everybody and good things that everybody said. So I knew it was going to make everybody mad. So I expected to get hate. I told my friends, a lot of people liking me on the real channel, but they about to hate me after this live because I got to say how I feel. But I'm surprised that people are actually liking what I'm saying because I'm point out some negative points about people they like.
I can hardly hear you because of where I'm at.
Oh, man.
But my question is, what happened to 62? Because for years she was writing for Black men. What was the point where she turned and into the person that she is today? Because I don't understand it. I think Queen Common Sense tried to explain that to me, but I've been off of YouTube channel. First of all, I run a motor carrier company and I'm just on the road all the time. So I have no time for YouTube. I'm catching up because I'm home for vacation now. But what happened to Cynthia G when she turned into the very person that she used to fight in the very beginning?
So, yeah, your mic is muffled, so people are having a hard time understanding you. But I'll try to explain because I was able to decipher it. She doesn't understand the specific thing that made Cynthia G change and turn, completely opposite from what made her come on now. I think Cynthia G tried to explain it. It's the things that she was seeing in the manosphere. Coming from the people in the comments, which a lot of times I don't like the rhetoric that some of the people say in the comments there too, and from the actual YouTube creators. Well, I saw some of the same things that she saw. I didn't turn out. I don't want to come on here and stereotype people. So this is something that more about how she reacts. This is more about her. Everybody think that they talking about somebody else, but all you do is show people how you actually think. If you decided to take this villainous approach and completely change yourself, it says more about you than it does the actual people.
Is there any way that you can turn down the people in the back? Because I can hardly hear you.
You're very muffled too, so I don't know if you're around something, but they can't understand what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Might be me then. Hold on. Let me see.
But while you do that, I'm gonna I want to hear from.
Is that better?
We have Judith on the line. How you doing, Judith?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Enjoying the day.
Hi,
That's
Judith.
awesome. And I am enjoying this dialogue. And I too want to thank you for being objective. I also want to thank you for presenting an opposite, in a way, how can I put it? Giving another side of this issue, because I am disheartened, although I believe in my people and I love my people, but it disheartens me as a 56-year-old woman to see our people falling into this trap of this gender war. And I believe that it's by design. And I also believe that I believe that it's lucrative. This is very lucrative to present our community this way. And it saddens me. But I wanted just to give some background. I was also a subscriber of Cynthia G. And I described her as, at this point, hello?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. You fine.
Let's keep going.
So at this point, I see she was obviously, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's a situation with her, issues with her baby daddy. I don't know what happened. I can only suspect that it's because of the fact that there's money to be made with this narrative. And her subscription has hit the roof. I mean, and it was like overnight. And I don't believe that you can truly love and have a heart for your people and turn like that. You had to already have some type of sinister motive to be able to turn on your people like that. And she was, this is what I call it, my definition of her, she was basically like a knockoff Sister Soldier. Just 6 months ago.
Okay.
You haven't heard of Sister Soldier? I'm 56, so maybe you haven't.
Well, I've read all of her work. I know Sister Soldier quite well.
Okay, so look her up. She was a knockoff Sister Soldier, and she was going at white folks.
That don't even compare.
Well, that's why I said knockoff. So she was going at white folks. She was going against swirling. She had videos about why Black women shouldn't be with white men, and they're still up. You can go and see them. She had videos about white folks and the Neanderthal gene. She was going in on white people. And then just to turn around and do this, I feel like it's by design and it's on purpose. But the other thing I want to do is encourage our people today. We have to remember that we literally came out of slavery with nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
And was still able to build places like Wall Street. And that was not the only town that we built from the ground up. So we are builders. As a matter of fact, the reason they went over and got us because they couldn't build. If they was builders, why did they need us? Do you think that those white folks were able to do those designs and things like that on their own and came over there to get us because they're builders? We have to think about our people. And then this whole narrative about black men didn't stand up for us. They hid all of the revolts. Nat Turner was not the only one that revolted. There were revolts going on. That's why they had to bring in the what some people say was fake, but the Willie Lynch letters. That's how they had to break that up because the slaves were revolting over and over again.
Let's not forget about how they revolted on the way over here. They sunk those ships.
Yes.
A lot of us tossed our the ship, you know, the helm of the ship right off the side of the ship. A lot of us jumped ship because we just refused to be enslaved. And now we have to fast forward these lessons that we know, because we know he who writes history always wins, right? That's why we all feel played by religion and so on and so on. So now that we have uncovered and unveiled Esau, the enemy, which is the bitterness, the dysfunction of our people based on the trauma that we have survived. And you know, they say if you if you see black folks and cockroaches, you know that's a strong people. Okay. So we have overcome, and it's like a lot of our people take the mindset of that elephant tied to a tree with a string. Have y'all heard that little fable? You know, you take the string off the elephant's leg and he still thinks he's tied to a tree, even though he knows he can uproot the tree. He doesn't. You understand? An elephant can snatch a tree out the ground. One of the most powerful kings of the jungle, and they don't know their own strength. That's how a lot of our people are.
Well, I think that you're exactly right, Queen. I think what you're saying is totally true, but I'm going to add some depth to it as well, which is I always say when I teach, because I'm an educator, that Black people living the earth right now are kind of the descendants of the first generation of artificial intelligence in the world, because we were systematically bred and prepared and adapted to the chattel slavery condition, which was scaled economics, which is, you know, an incarnation of economics that existed before the factory. In fact, it was the reason that Black women have had to take on such a disproportionate economic burden in our communities is because Black men, after slavery, there was literally nowhere for the average typical Black man outside of sharecropping or chain gangs to receive any kind of systematic education in the new generation of machines, which would be the textile mill, the grist mills. If you ever heard the folk tale of John Henry, right, trying to outrun the train, it's a really great way to kind of understand the shift of subjectivity and consciousness after slavery for Black people. Black men have always been incredibly valuable and useful and intelligent and contributing. Absolutely. The issue though was opportunity. So that's why at the turn of the century, you know, I saw some people talking about Reconstruction in the chat. We had to, we don't talk about Booker T. Washington with any kind of depth anymore. We don't acknowledge people like Fannie Jackson Coppin, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, and other people who were literally building education to include industrial arts education at the turn of the century because their focus was self-sufficiency. Our people are so obsessed with straw men. Like John is constantly educating people on this channel about, like, when we use words like the government, the media, the white man, whatever your imagination can conjure up to imagine whatever you think that is. You take away agency from the noun. You know, the government. No, the government consists of individuals who are making decisions. Who are those individuals? And whenever we're talking about our greatness and our history and things like that, we need to ask better questions like, how did we become literate from the 19th to the early 20th century? Who was responsible for that effort? How did we survive without a welfare system, for example?
Right.
Can we talk about the settlement movement? Can we talk about things like that, right? So I think that Queen, you're raising such amazing points because, but in order for us to actualize the potential you're talking about, we need to know something. We need to be connected to something.
Exactly.
And I just feel like, and I see it in my students because, you know, I've been teaching college for over 15 years, 4 different institutions, from grad school to, you know, postgraduate. And it doesn't matter where I've been over time. What I have noticed is that this attention.
Wait. No. It does matter. You got to quit your job. What are you doing with all those degrees? Why are you teaching people? You're a woman. You're supposed to be submissive somewhere to me. What you do? What are you doing? What is this? What is this I'm hearing on my platform?
Well, let me just break in here. Let me just break in here.
You out here with degrees?
John, you're so funny. This is the last thing I'll say, and then I am going to get out of here because I do want other people to be able to talk and everything like that. And I have a meeting, actually a work meeting. But here's the thing: this attention economy, this social media, I call it. I say all the time, it's auction blocking. It's virtual auction blocking.
Yes,
What's happening is that everybody's body, male, female, dog, cat, has been pornographied into an algorithmic system in which the retrieval of your body is based on counts, likes, that getting paid on the 21st. So people are looking for any kind of quote unquote knowledge hustle, rhetorical hustle that they can, if they do not have the ability to do a trade, if they're not qualified to do these other things, if they're not connected to anything, they don't think anything of it because we've normalized the pornification of the body, and especially the Black body, which is just a continuation from slavery. So that's why whenever we start talking tradition, I get anxious because I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Black women's bodies, it's not a question of, well, look at me, I can wear my crop top and I can wear my shirts. Don't you tell me what to do. I ain't no hoe. It's like, well, listen, it's not that you shouldn't wear those things, but it's what are you saying when you're wearing those things? What are you wanting when you're wearing those things?
Exactly.
You can't just ignore that you wearing something doesn't signify something. So you better either be prepared to defend it, or you better acknowledge that we come from a long history of mofos objectifying our bodies. So why do you want to participate in that if you're not trying to be on the money train?
How do you feel about the word?
That's why I spoke on indoctrination earlier.
Complicated, and that's why I love Queen's comments, because I think that our conversation today has really moved. And I'll stick around for just a couple more minutes because I do want to hear from other people. But I'm going to mute. But the last thing I'll say is,
good. I got a question.
These are the conversations we need to be having. Is really, what in the hell are we about? What are we trying to build? How do we respect each other mutually? And let's return to the source of wisdom, and let's really come to some agreement.
Which is a tradition in our community. We have very wise people and always have had wise people in our communities. So I just wanted to say really quick on the subject. Excuse me, y'all. I'm going to get off. I just wanted to say really quickly. My father was a World War II veteran. He had an 8th grade education. He went over to war. He came back and he experienced the racism in northern Louisiana, where white men were threatening to lynch veterans, Black veterans that came home. He had a young wife and just had their first set of twins. He was a part of the Great Migration of the 1940s, where he moved his small family to South Central Los Angeles. I'm the baby of 8 children, and the last one that was born in our final home. My point is that he was able, with an 8th grade education and a wife who stayed home, who actually was the only one out of 13 children, my mother, who went to college and was a teacher. Now, whether or not that's agreeable now, she made the decision to do that because, yes, it was a part of the tradition. She had 8 living children and she took care of the home. My father, I watched him, came home, brought his check to my mother. She took care of all of the bills and then gave him an allowance. That worked for them. Because I saw that, I was more receptive to that. So when I got married, I kind of had the same thing. So my point is, though, is that we have come through all kinds of adversity. And this narrative that Cynthia G and others is pushing, especially Cynthia G, this is what really bothers me, that our men are not builders and our men are cowards. When I know that my father stood toe to toe with white racists on his own and made it clear that you are not going to bully me and you're not going to put fear in me. All of our men are not perfect, but all of our women are not perfect either. And so whatever tradition you want to set, you can start your own traditions, but there is nothing wrong with taking pieces of what has traditionally worked and using it for the benefit of our people now.
Yes, ma'am.
There's nothing wrong with tradition.
I got something to say to were you done? I don't want to cut you off, but I got something to say to that.
Go ahead.
All right, so a few conversations ago, the word tradition was thought of as a time. There was some lady who was like, oh, tradition, I'm not my mama, I'm not my grandmother, blah, blah. And I just want to say
I'm
this.
some lady, by the way.
Hold on, honey, because I heard what you were saying, and I agree with you. Now, what I'm saying is that there's this confusion about the word tradition, just like the word submission. Guess what? I submitted an application to live in my apartment. I submitted that. So when we use words like tradition, at my job, I have the traditional dress code. It works. So we can't look at it as a time frame. We got to look at it as like, you're a woman. I'm a man. I'm a fiance right now. I'll be married in February coming.
Congrats, man.
That is I've already heeded to the traditions to the point I've been calling her my wife for years. So let's not look at the word tradition as so icky and off-putting. Let's look at it like your duty. I'm a man. I have to be a man. And you as a woman, I don't know how to be a woman, but there has to be womanly duties too. So the idea of tradition, I think it scares women who can't be traditional. And that's up to them if they go. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I represent MGTOW. I was one of the first black MGTOWs.
Hold on for a short moment. Are you there, Patchy? Are you there, Patchy Ware?
Yeah, can you hear me clear?
Okay, cool. I just want to hear you. Make sure you ain't no troll, but y'all go ahead.
But yeah, like I was saying, men going their own way. It started out as a positive thing. There wasn't so much misogynistic ideas and so much bashing of women, but just ideas of how to deal with them. Me, I'm a husbandman. But when I first came to MGTOW in 2014, I was just looking at how do I deal with women, my mother, my sister, my female bosses, my coworkers, especially in instances that involve human resources, instances that might involve divorce or family lawyers, and the things that might be unfair to men. For example, you might have said something that a woman might have taken as a sexual advance. When you said something as simple as, you know how it is with women. Sometimes they might misinterpret something. And then you'll spend 20 minutes explaining that that's not what you meant. So the reason for all these male manosphere groups online is it started from brothers just trading information. And just like anything with black people, there's going to be a black version, just like BET, just like black Twitter. So I'm here also to defend the MGTOW philosophy. I'm not here to defend the guys behind it because some of them are manginas. Some of them are wimps, and some of them don't know how to talk to women, and their social skills are lacking. That doesn't take away from the fact that women divorce men more than men divorce women, and they are allotted the children. They're given allowances and certain things, and men have to be aware of it. And that's how I got my name through the manosphere community. I'm the architect from the Matrix, but I call myself the smart architect because the architect told Neo, you have a choice. Your choice. You can go save your girl, or you can save the world. So my only thing is you have a choice. As a man going his own way, who is married, I'm still saying to other men, look, you got a choice, but you should be aware of how women are, especially the older they get. And it's disappointing when the ones who are 35 are saying, well, women should have been more like this, that, and the third. It's like, lady, you 35. If you were 25 saying this, I'd be more receptive, you know, and younger women your age, younger women who are in their 20s should be more receptive to that type of information. I don't think Cynthia did a good job of really representing what the manosphere is talking about, especially the black manosphere. It's not so much down-putting black women. It's reverse psychology. You know, that's all it really is. If you're wearing red hair, I'm gonna call you a gremlin in the hopes that you'll wear an afro or that you'll go natural. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I gotta say about that. That's all I gotta say about that. I'm gonna fall back.
I got quite a few rebuttals to what you were just saying, smart architect. Thank you for coming on, my brother. If you really like you're saying the overall ideology of why I started with the manosphere, but you say there's manginas and they're making it look a certain way that it's not supposed to be. Right. Wouldn't that upset you that it would cloud the message the same way as the white guy going on Cynthia G's show and calling people the racist names that he said overclouded any points he was trying to make to where people don't want to listen to him? Wouldn't that bother you if there's a message inside that you really like, but there are guys who are popular who are doing mangina shit, as you say, to keep people from even listening?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's to that white gentleman. Look, I don't even like sharing certain words amongst white people. You know, you're a battle rap fan. I don't like when battle rappers call white people niggas. But what he did have to say, some of it was valid, some of it was total BS.
Yeah, I agree.
Take away from what the core message is just to be aware of male nature and female nature. You know, you have some weirdos who might be the biggest mouthpieces of this stuff, and their personalities might supersede the main message that's trying to be put out there. You know, you do have some weirdos, but that doesn't make the facts less of a fact, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, too, you want to look at optics. Let's take your example that you said when you was talking about, you know, if I want women to have afros and I see women with red hair, I'm gonna call them a gremlin. What do you think about a message? Okay, someone said it's one thing, and it's just one thing. Every single day they point out something negative about black women. You got a joint audience of people laughing at black women. You got the audience who have reverted over to say more childish, immature shit than the actual YouTubers saying, that you can see a climate brewing of hatred towards black women. Like, what do you feel about that?
Boy, this is going to sound cliche, but yeah, you get those types of outliers from all groups. You're going to have the black guys talk about black women, but yeah, I've even seen white guys talk about white women and then separate them between blondes, brunettes, and redheads. I've listened to those chats. I hear people talk about Indians and break it down into the races between the genders. You're going to have people like that. And you're going to have sensitive people like us, African Americans. When you use words like Negro, bed, wench, coming from a white guy, yes, that is going to get under your skin. But we call crackers crackers. You know what I'm saying?
I don't. I think all the shit is wrong and divisive. So I'm not gonna go like, yo, well, this is all right because everybody else do it. I'll call out any fucking body if I see rhetoric spilling that I don't agree with. And here on my channel, I do preach that people should look at the details of any argument, which a lot of those are unfound arguments. But when you mix in, you purposely trying to diminish how someone physically looks, along with the next day you talk about the actions that they may take, you're going to create a climate. It's going to come across on the optics that you just generally don't like black women.
Well, from what I hear, it's mainly talking about certain weights, certain body styles, and certain hairstyles, and basically the ultra ratchet behavior. You've seen the movie Beth. We've both seen that movie. So I think they're mainly talking about those women. They're not talking about the Michelle Obamas or the Naomi Campbell. They're not talking about. They're not even talking about the Rihannas or the Beyoncés. They're mainly talking about the women they deal with. Sometimes it's low hanging fruit, the same ratchet females that you see at the gas station.
But that's one thing to say. But I can pull up videos of women who do not fit that category, and they got the same fucked up treatment on those YouTube channels. Then I ratchet it all, educated women. They all got the same lynch mob vilify from the entire audience too. So like,
there are lynch mobs. You're right. There's no doubt about that.
But if your message is teaching young black men to, here come the next black woman, let's just get them because she black. They're not even fitting the stereotype that you're saying. If the young people in the audience are taking that away and they're coming on to vilify black women, then there's an issue.
Okay, well, that is an issue. But let's take somebody who's not a MGTOW, but somebody like Tommy Sotomayor, right? Every now and then he might have a recap of some event that might have happened involving a shooting and somebody's mother coming up and giving a statement. And Tommy might pause for a second and say, now pause, hold on, look at his mother. Look what she's wearing. Look how she's talking. That's a keen example of right here and right now. Look, this is the thing that's holding us back. These are the type of women that you might want to avoid, not only for your livelihood, but especially if you're trying to get married and things like that. I don't see a targeting of women who are 9s and 10s. I don't see that. And we can share that. You can send me some of that. I don't see it as much.
I'll literally send you when he started dating a white woman, and it's the split second he did. First, before he dated a white woman, he put down men who dated a white woman. Then he dated a white woman, and as soon as he did, he specifically targeted black women to say how they are not like his woman because she is white. He told me before I called him out on that. Then I played a video of him doing it, and he got mad. I still have that video, and I still have others. So I'm saying, like, if a black man is out here trying to show how another race is better than black women and taking the time to pull down everything about black women, then to show how scientifically even the bone structure in black women make black women is wrong, that is fucking horrible for our society and for our community.
Yeah, that part ain't cool. That part I don't support or condone. But what I do support is being sure of the type of woman that you be around. Again, I'm a fiance, but I wouldn't be one without MGTOW. If I hadn't gone through the information that I learned and still pursued the woman of my dream, then things would be a whole lot different. So I'm gonna still defend the philosophy that men need to be aware of themselves and be aware of female nature, but don't put other races down. Learn them too from white people, but don't put other races down. And I'll even say this: my most popular MGTOW video, I took it down years ago. Like I said, it was more popular 5-10 years ago. But I had a video entitled "The 3 Types of White Women That Black Guys Date," just because I've noticed that there is only 3 types of white women that black men date, and I broke down the science. However, people started suggesting that I must be in love with white women, and that's how messages can get a little bit murky. And it makes us seem like we don't like our own women. Of course, we love black women. We just hate ratchet, And there's a lot of them these days.
Yeah, it seems to me if someone has the ideology I do, but they go on to add something extra divisive and harmful to my ideology, I would be the first person to be upset with them, because I would want people to hear my ideology, and they're hearing something else when they hear it. So I feel like people like you should be the first people that's upset with him, because you keep saying that you don't like you keep saying that you don't like ratchet to men that's going out here that's saying all black women are bad. that are showing example that out of their mouth. It's I don't mean all black women, but when you start looking at the examples and you look at the things that's shown, they coming at all black women of any category. So if it were me, like I see somebody sound, this is John Real's rhetoric. I'm gonna tell you how he feels, and they start adding some shit on that I don't agree with. I'm gonna be the first person to step up and be like, nah, bro, that's not it at all.
Black MGTOW came about. That's how Black MGTOW became a whole separate thing, because not only are we unique in all of our expressions, but believe it or not, we don't go as hard as some regular manosphere guys, because we still want to date, we still want to marry, we just want to know how to deal with these women. So as far as different ideologies, it's like church. It's one Bible, let me rephrase that. There is one original printing of the King James Bible, but there are so many different denominations, and some people show up on Saturday instead of Sunday. So it's one of those things. There's a gentleman named Jay DeBlack, one of the first Black MGTOW. Another one, Black Ram 313. And they were different, but the message gets muffled because there's way more white MGTOWs, and it's kind of unfair. Let me kick the ballistics. Let me give it to you real straight. There is no real need to get married. It's only a want. That's the whole point of MGTOW. There is no need to have children. It's a want. It's a matter of legacy. It's a matter of, again, tradition. And if there isn't as much tradition in the world, then you notice these things. For example, Real. Would you say that hip hop right now is hyper feminine?
I don't know. I don't have enough information. I never looked at hip hop as hyper or lesser feminine. The one thing I did want to say to you, though, before you explain why you feel it's hyper feminine, when I preach the keep an open mind, I would say, to your point, it felt awesome when my dad came into my life and I was able to hear advice from a man's point of view when he came into my life when I was 16 years old, and he stayed in. I learned a lot from listening to men or listening to a man. But as you say that you learning from these men, if you want to know how to treat a woman, you want to know how the woman minds work, it would be foolish to not listen to women as well. It'd be foolish to only listen to men to tell you how a woman feels. So make sure you keep your mind open to listen to everybody. That would be my advice to you.
But you've never gotten bad information from a woman.
Can I jump in quick?
Yeah, you got it. I'll fall back.
All right, thanks, brother. Nice to meet you, by the way. But I want to go back to what I was saying about the tradition and indoctrination, speaking to your point as far as, the MGTOW and all that. I want to underline what John said about speaking to women, having conversations with them as well. It's very important, because traditionally, like I said, circling it back around to the courting/dating, these are all things that people need to sit down and have the conversation before you check the oil under the hood. When you enter sex into a situation, whether it's male, female, you're dating to marry, or you're just dating just to find yourself, you have to have a conversation with that person, because you only get one shot, to decide, okay, if I decide I want to be solely committed, or if I'm going to be exclusive with this person, we need to talk about sex, money, everything before you say, okay, let's go ahead and have sex and make it official, right? Consummated, whatever you want to call it. These conversations are not being had because we have already been indoctrinated to believe that it's a man should be able to tell a woman what to do and she better listen, and they take that and run with it. And there's so many branches to that tree that are excluded to considering, like John said, no open-mindedness. Now, I don't have a problem with people rejecting ratchet, because I'm not ratchet. I didn't raise my children ratchet. I wasn't raised ratchet. There's one tradition. However, the ratchetry comes into play where we have armchair parenting that do not pass those traditions down to teach our ladies what ladyhood looks like. Don't just talk about it, because children grow up to be what they see, not what we tell them.
And Queen, can we add something to that about space? Typically people are socialized to operate in different gendered spaces. So you want to talk about tradition. I know when I was being raised, it didn't just extend to gender, it was also children and adults. It was very clear that children needed to be in a very, like, you know what I'm saying? Yes. And people might define that spatial segregation as quote unquote tradition. But let me tell you about what that spatial
I just want to finish my point real quick, if I can. I just want to finish my point if I can, real quick.
I thought you were. I'm sorry.
No. What I was saying is, as far as the conversation and the blending of the ideas and the traditions between man and woman, we have basic principles as humans, you know, and I know in our so-called community, Black community, those baseline principles followed over hundreds and hundreds of years, right? They've worked. So if we go down back to the basics and just understand why we're here, how am I defining myself, and what does that look like to my partner or potential mate? And you know, so a lot of times we paint a mural of what we want in another person, and we forget to ask that other person to put their paintbrushes on the wall and paint too.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's another thing, is getting an understanding of what you're dealing with. And if ratchet is the problem, we did a litmus test, and I think John can attest to this. Way back when TS was doing his first, you know, whatever, back in, 2012, when he started this nonsense, he said, I bet I can't get 10 educated Black women to get on the line and answer my question. So what I did, being my little devious self, I called up all the paramedics, all the female state troopers, you name it. We had somebody from Hawaii, damn near all over the map. We all called in and flooded that line, and he called every last one of us bitches before we could even get 3 words out. And we're all educated. I hold 3 degrees. One of my homegirls holds 5. Okay. She's been all over the place with it. So it's like, it's not about are we ratchet or not. It's about a stereotype that is pushing a rhetoric. He's pushing an agenda of hatred and divisiveness. So we have to be quicker on the uptake and take a step back and look at things less subjective and more objectively. Like John was saying, open-mindedness. Instead of leading with emotions, we got to step back and say, first of all, you can't make sense out of nonsense. Okay. And if a person, you can't comprehend and truly digest and process what another person's saying, it's time to move on. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe. And if you are meeting nothing but ratchet people, then you're talking to the wrong people. So you can't just paint everybody with that same brush and say, oh, well, Black women are ratchet. Black women are loud. They're unruly or what have you, because we proved it on live blog talk. 10 of us, educated women with families, some single mothers, some not. We proved it. We all called in. We were ready to have the conversation, and we all got cussed the fuck out. So
let me hear from Patchyware. They've been on for a really long time. After waiting for a long time, I haven't heard from them. Hold on,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so I probably might be the youngest that called in. I just turned 26. And,
okay, happy late birthday.
Thank you, man. It was on the 6th. So, you know, although I was raised to believe I was Black, you know, I know a lot of people think this is going to sound off-putting, but I think that's the biggest problem, is growing up in the Black community. And I'm from the South, but I've been other places, and it seems to be some certain universal teachings. This idea that I've heard people on the call say, our men, our women. I never viewed anybody that I don't know as my own. So when I see, like, even Cynthia G, y'all were talking about her earlier. She talks about Black men being treasonous for dating outside the race. All these things are weird to me, because that's like saying a stranger I don't know is doing something that really ain't even a problem. You dating somebody, what does that have to do with you? These issues are going to continue as long as people hold those values of worrying about other people that has nothing to do with you and not fixing yourself. A lot of people got their own personal problems. They'll rather try to fix other people instead of themselves. And that seems to be a tradition in the Black community. I know a lot of people that call themselves Black that love to talk about everybody else's problems, but they the most messed up person you ever met, and they think they either fine or they don't want to deal with their problems. If people just fix their individual problem, their whole world would change. That's a very short answer.
So you agree when I said about people should look within, look inside, and try to fix themselves when I was saying that earlier?
Yes, sir.
Of course, that's the main thing people need to do. And another thing is in the Black culture, there is can we curse on here?
Yeah.
Or use profanity?
Yeah, I'm already demonetized, bro. I'll demonetize 5 minutes into the live.
There's a slogan Black people use all the time. You know, I grew up saying it, but I stopped. It's called "I don't give a fuck," and that's a real thing. That's really what they believe. They believe they don't care about anything. There are no rules and regulations. They don't, honoring contracts and agreements. That doesn't really exist, and it's not genetic. That's one thing I'm tired of. People in the Black culture believing, oh, these things are genetic, and my ancestor experienced trauma, therefore I experienced trauma. All those things are illogical. You are the way you are because of who you are today and the experiences you experience. Your ancestors from 1,000, 100 years ago don't have nothing to do with you. These, like, Black people are believing into a bunch of weird things that anytime you ask someone to explain, because I'm an open-minded person, just explain it to me. Why is it that you can tap into the trauma of your slave ancestor, but you can't tap into the success of anybody before that? They don't ever explain that because it doesn't make any sense. It's just an excuse to say, well, I'm doing bad because slavery. No, you're doing bad because you keep doing bad. If you fix it, and if you need help, that's where good people come in. But another problem in Black culture is they don't believe in, sometimes, sadly, maybe the people you grew up around ain't in the best place to help you. Not that they bad as in total, but maybe they not in a place to help. Black people they raise their kids a lot of the time not to trust nobody that isn't quote unquote Black. So they don't think to trust somebody else. They won't really listen to them. They're afraid of them because they're raised to be afraid of them. It's not genetics. It's not, that's another thing I've noticed. And these are the problems that, a lot of people my age suffer from. I guess because we're a similar age group, I'm able to help them out. But when it comes to older people, I'm just be real. It's honestly a lost cause. Me saying what I'm saying, I'm looked at it like I'm crazy.
No. That's what I want to ask you. Anybody come on young, I'm gonna ask all y'all the same thing. How does it feel that this whole environment, this culture on YouTube are coming from older people? They're in their late 30s, 40s, or 50s. How does it feel like as a young person coming in and seeing this?
Well, what I feel like is, I had my dad in my life. I had my mother and my father. It wasn't perfect because they didn't live together, but I had my father and my mother, and all these people tend to not have had both their parents, and that seems to be the main issue. When I was in college, I had to do a study on not what Black parents bring to the table, what do human parents bring to their children. And it was fascinating because when I was about 13 years old, my aunt had a child, and I did this because I'm a male. When she brought the child around, when that baby would cry, I wouldn't react to that. My father wouldn't react to that. My mother and my aunt would react. I read so many studies proving that women respond to crying, emotions, and they teach children emotion and creativity. But men teach discipline and structure. Babies learn crying don't work on daddy. So I got to get his attention another way. I can cry anytime and mama gonna pop up. The problem is that when you don't have both your parents and you're not raised in a dual parent home, you're going to miss something out. If you can possibly get it later in life. But see, when you get older, hopefully you didn't get bitter from your father not being around or your mother not being around, whoever. You got to be able to say, hey, I may be an adult, but I need a father still. Teach me something, whoever that is. It don't have to be an actual father. You can still get it. But they don't want to do that. They're not raised to do that. They're raised to hate men. And that's why a lot of Black men they hate women now, because their whole life they heard, just like me, I thought my name was nigga. Because I used to hear niggas ain't shit, and that was referencing to my father and to, technically me. My whole life. Did I make it a problem? No, because I don't know what you want to call this. I just knew growing up, not everybody around me is the nicest of people and the smartest of people. So, I just shrug it off. But a lot of other people are not like me. They don't just shrug things off. I try to find the good in everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't operate that way. So they hold grudges and issues. And that's why I'm kind of sympathetic to the Cynthia G's. I listen to her, I'm subscribed to her, and she could be entertaining from a, like, wow, she's saying some crazy stuff type of, that's why she kind of entertaining. But I hear that she's upset. I don't really like, that's mainly what it is. She's just upset. Because
somebody tried to say that to her with respect. With respect. She, I mean, well, not she, but she posted another female YouTuber talking mad shit about this person to show that I agree with what this YouTuber is saying. This guy came, he reminded me of you, how he was talking, and she still had an issue.
Yeah, recently she did a stream, and Cynthia G uses this analogy that doesn't make a lot of sense, where she tries to say the white man gave you his queen, and in chess, if they give you the queen, that's checkmate. And it's like, huh? No, that's not how that works. Because first of all, if someone just said, I'm playing a game of chess, and someone pushed their queen towards my side of the board, that could mean anything. I don't like that doesn't, but she doesn't know the rules of chess. A guy called in and explained to her because she said the most important piece on the chessboard is the queen. He said, no, it's the king. The king get captured, the game is over, which is true. She didn't want to hear him say that. She didn't care that he said that. At least that's how she behaved.
Mm-hmm.
Which let me know she's not really here for a dialogue. Now, I'm not trying. I'm making an assumption here. The guy that said that was what some people will refer to as a black man. If that was a white man saying that, I don't know if she probably would have took it the right way. Because but that's the hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Something occurred. I don't know what it was because I'm not in her life, but that's what it just comes across, and that's what a lot of those women are doing. And the men in the because I listen to some of the Kevin Samuel stuff. All that stuff is just people who are basically still kids screaming that they never had whatever they wanted. They didn't have the proper upbringing. That's why in Black culture they always talk about money. The high value thing with Kevin Samuels is about money. Kevin Samuels has said so many things that make no sense, especially when he says, well, I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm not a Christian, but he'll say he's a Christian. I know a little bit something about Christianity. God doesn't care about your money. So when you're telling people you're a Christian, but become a high value man, knowing the history of high value men, like he referred to a high value man back in the day as a king. Are we going to ignore all the evil things kings do? Are you going to, do you know the evil things people typically do to, not everybody, but a lot of people today, they do a lot of evil stuff to get this high amount of money. They screw a lot of people over, do a lot of people dirty. It's a rare person that can have a large amount of money. I'm talking about the millions and billions, and they ain't, no one's going to be perfect, but they ain't done too much dirt. That's rare. He said himself, I don't care about my morals. I want to win. That's confusing because if you're a Christian, you already won.
He said he don't care about his own morals.
There's a channel called what is it called? I think his name is Lakeith. I can't remember the actual name. It's a good channel, and he has Kevin Samuels on all the time. And he said black people have a problem where they have all these morals, but he said forget morals. I want to win. That's confusing. If you're a Christian, you won. If you believe in the word of God. Like I said, I'm not here to preach nobody nothing, but if that's what he believes, that's what he say.
Yeah, follow your belief. I feel
these things don't add up.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you one last thing. I get ready to end it. Because all I see is my generation. I see late 30s, 40s, 50s, and stuff. Do you think that this will come down to younger generation? Do you think younger YouTubers are going to come on here and start spitting the same divisive rhetoric and keep a community like this going on?
That's already happening, sadly. Like for me, 2 years ago, at the end of 2017, I got really sick. I was on I still do YouTube a little bit, but I was mainly doing video game related stuff. And I got sick. And then, 2 years I was bedridden, almost dying multiple times. And then this time I was very, I never gave up. So it's cool. I appreciate it though. When I was sick, I felt, okay, YouTube, I kept my private life and YouTube separate because I just came over here talking about video games and got off. I was like, I thought I was dying, so I said, let me try to help people that listen to me. I've helped so many people on my channel, and I have a small channel, very small. It's not like 600 subscribers, but the people that I've helped dealing with anxiety issues, I helped a quote unquote black man that was into that stuff. Like, oh, I don't like my parents, I don't like the upbringing of my and I tried to tell him, look, you're gonna have to forgive all that because your mother and your father, look, my mother and my father get on my nerves sometimes too, but I learned long ago, they don't really, no one knows. I'm not gonna know everything, and I'm gonna make mistakes. You gotta ask yourself, did your parents make mistakes trying to do the right thing, or did they make mistakes because they just irresponsible? Now that might be two different things, but you still got to forgive. But one is better than the other. They were trying to do the right thing, but just doing it the wrong way, then that's a little different. And his life changed. And matter of fact, his life changed so much that he started doing well, getting into stocks, and he come back and tell me about stocks. I'm not into stocks. So by helping him, just because I'm just being me, he come back and help me. And that's what's going to help people out. Like your channel, you do that. I'm glad you're trying to inform people how to have debates and discussions, because that's one thing I used to do, debate people about video games, and they couldn't beat me because they try to do straw man and all that. It don't make any sense. So yeah, I'm glad you're teaching that. But one thing I want to say before we wrap it up is that not trying to push my beliefs on anything, because it's not really my belief. It's just, I know it's gonna sound a little arrogant. It's just the reality. I'm trying to tell people there's no such thing as being a black person or a white person or a yellow person or a red person. If you look into the history, and there are books on this, they created the concept of race, which is based off of nothing scientific, to push slavery in America, because the majority of people, yes, the majority of the Europeans that came over here did not agree with chattel slavery. Now, when you start talking about, was it indentured servitude and all that, that's a little different. They were cool with that. Chattel slavery, they didn't agree with that. They put laws on the books that, let's just say you were a European and didn't agree, and you spoke up, you're going to get hung. You're going to get killed. You're going to not have land. So, of course, through cowardliness, I can't speak. Those people didn't say nothing too much. I was shocked. Do you not know just last year I learned that the Underground Railroad, white people started that, or quote unquote white people? My whole life they said Harriet Tubman started that in school. The misinformation that people have is crazy, but there are books that teach this stuff. So the reason I'm telling you this is, you can call yourself what you want. You can call yourself black, call yourself white, do whatever you want to do. But just remember, when you call yourself something, you embody the things that are attached to it. So you're calling yourself a name that your ancestors' oppressors called them, and all the things they called them that go into black are negative, and the only good were things that benefited the whites. If words and things have power, if you think that you calling yourself this is helping you in any way, fine. But if it's really not, because I don't hate the word or term, I don't care if you call me that. My whole life it never meant nothing. And then I just started to realize, if this term that was put upon me doesn't mean anything to me, why do I call myself this? Me learning the history just pushed it further. You feel me? Yeah. And that I really believe, because you hear it all the time. We can't do X, Y, and Z because we're black, and black people don't do X, Y, and Z. And normally X, Y, and Z is something good to do. Last thing I'll say, my own father, who loves me and cares about me, he told me, son, when I was a kid and when I was in high school, give up your dream of making video games, because black people don't make video games. My 5th video game is about to drop. I had to go back to my father and ask him, why did he tell me that? And he said it because he truly believed. He said he never seen a black person make video games. He wasn't saying that to be mean. He just never, and it was so ignorant. But this is my father. I know he loves and cares about me. And I said, he just don't know any better. And this is why I say, I think people really should think about, call yourself what you want, but just think all these things that go with that, you're probably going to embody them. So as long as you don't do that, hey, look, But anyway, that's it, man.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I love the diverse cast from older women to younger men to older men, different viewpoints. That's what I try to push on the channel. So thank you for coming on, man.
No problem.
Anytime. So E, just like last time I did this, I think her name was something with Black Women Podcast. I couldn't get her on time. Time went too long. So E, I'm gonna give you the same thing I gave to her. If she would have came on, I would have put her on first before anybody else. But since it's too late, I'm not gonna be able to get you on, E. So the next time I do a live in here and I put the link in the chat, I will put you first before anybody. So y'all remember E, just the letter E, wanted to come on here. We don't have time today because I am starving. But I don't agree with everybody who came on the panel, just like they don't agree with me. I don't agree with every phrase I put at the bottom of the screen. But that y'all need to understand that that's normal. That's okay. It is not natural for you to believe every single thing a person says if they turn it on a YouTube camera 7 days a week. It's not natural to believe in all of that. So there's some form of you want to look inside that you may be idolizing somebody. This is what it's all about. People having different opinions. And like I always say, being able to say why they feel the way they feel. So shout out to people like Queen and like the young man who left and the guy who came on earlier. I'm sorry, I'm bad with names. But they all said what they believe and why they believe the way that they believe. They all went into detail to explain how they come up to the conclusions of what they feel in their life. You take from that information and put your truth out there and maybe it can help somebody grow. But there's no animosity. There's no hatred. Nobody want to dox anybody. Nobody want to put out anybody's phone number. Nobody want to kill anybody's children. Nobody want to go and do all of this crazy stuff. It's just adult, mature people having true conversations. That's what I always wanted to push on here. So thank you guys for coming on. I don't have any hatred for anybody in the manosphere unless they threaten to beat me up. But besides that, I have no animosity for anybody in the manosphere. I don't agree with a lot of the rhetoric, and I explain why on this one. I don't have any animosity at all for Cynthia G, and I would easily welcome a mature conversation with Cynthia G. The way she has her slick words when she roasts people, this shit is quite funny to me. It shows, hey, she kind of clever. Because she do slick in them jabs. This shit be funny to me. So I kind of understood where he was coming from when he said that. I just do not agree with this negative, divisive rhetoric. And the last thing I'll say before I end this is like, I'll repeat what I said earlier. If you got to come on and turn on your camera every day and you're negative, like you're angry, you're bitter, you probably really want to check inside because nobody needs to have that pent up into them 7 days a week. That's going to affect your own health. People out here are even through our bad times, even through 2020, through COVID, we out here chilling. We having fun. We about to have fun. You about to see a lot of Black women and a lot of Black men get together this weekend and go barbecue and go grill for the 4th of July. And somebody going to come on here and argue, bitches, you should have only did it for Juneteenth. And they're going to say all this hardcore negative shit. But for real, people just having fun, man. You got one life to live. Only one life. Try to, what I always say on my true crime channel, every day you wake up, try to have a genuine smile. The word genuine is important because we fake smile all the time, but we can't lie to ourselves. Go out here and try to produce that genuine smile every day, 7 days a week. Because you only got one life to live. And also look inside before you start looking at anybody else to try to make excuses about where you are in life. That's all. So for the rest of y'all, hold it down. Sorry if I can't get y'all to come back on panel. Somebody said, wow. But I've been on the stream for a long time. And it is Friday, folks. It's Friday. So y'all go out and enjoy your weekend. I'm enjoying mine. And I'll see y'all next time. It's been real. Shout out to everybody who gave to the Cash App and also everybody who gave on here. Let me say this one time because one person I said I wasn't gonna forget because I hit everybody else up when they did do the super chat. The person I forgot in the beginning, went by Lorraine Sims, and I forgot my man Caliber, who always come through. I put your thing up, EPIMS, Sis, and of course, always Daniel Murphy at the end. So besides that, it's been real, and I see you all next time.